Hey everybody, how you doing? And welcome to the John Riley Project. I have a very special guest with me today. It's my son Trevor Riley, joining us here in the
Hello.
podcast studio. How you doing?
Good. I've been living 50 feet down from this podcast studio now
Well,
for about a year,
it's our
2
living
years.
room,
Yeah.
so you probably hear me in here squawking and doing
Oh, yeah.
everything. Good. So I'm really happy that we were finally doing this.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah. We have all kinds of interesting guests, and I have interesting guests that live under my own roof. So,
Yeah.
so how you doing?
Good.
Good. Friday, all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so we're live streaming this on Facebook and on YouTube. So of course we welcome all your thoughts and comments and questions. If you have questions for me or for Trevor, we'll just let them rip. Just type them into YouTube or Facebook, and we'll get them here and we'll see them on the air.
They all really come together in one place here.
Yeah, right here. Actually, the audience can't see this, but on our monitor to the right of it, we have like a little chat window, and it kind of consolidates all the comments from both YouTube and Facebook.
This is like a program. It's like a software.
Yeah, it's called StreamYard. So it's kind of like Zoom, but Zoom I can only live stream to one platform at a time. This I can go to YouTube and Facebook, and I can actually live stream to as many as 10 different platforms, but I haven't set them up yet. So if I set up Periscope, I could like live stream on Twitter. I could do a lot more, but the two main ones are
Yeah.
YouTube and Facebook. But the nice thing also is that it consolidates all of our comments. So
Yeah,
I don't have to
place.
I don't have to
That's
go to
what I
one
was saying.
platform.
It's nice.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. So the only challenge is it's sometimes a little hard to see with my
Pat Johnson says hi.
yeah, Pat Johnson on the live stream joining us. How you doing, Pat? Happy Friday to y'all. So anyways, today what I was hoping we can do is, you and I were always kind of, talking about news events, national news, local news. And it's usually a bunch of old guys, we're talking about. I want to get a young man's perspective.
Yeah.
So a 21-year-old young man, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm just kind of want to get your thoughts on a wide range of issues. Let's start with COVID.
Yeah.
Okay. So the rules are relaxing, right? At least that's what the CDC said, that we don't necessarily have to wear
masks if you're fully vaccinated, right?
Right. So how has, how are you and the people you hang out with, are you noticing there's changes in behavior? How are people typically getting around these days? Are they wearing masks? What's going on?
Well, in California, everybody still wears masks.
Yeah.
Still. But obviously I've been to other states like Oklahoma, Florida, and it's a whole new world out there compared to California.
Right.
But here, I mean, yeah, it's definitely relaxing. I really haven't changed much about my day to day, but they open the gyms finally again,
Right.
which is nice. But mainly, I guess my friends, yeah, it's starting to open up more for them. They're about more people. You can do more things now, I guess.
Yeah.
San Diego State's no longer expelling kids for having more than like 5 people and stuff like that.
Were there stories of that? Do you know people that got
They were threatening expulsions at the beginning of COVID for having like parties and groups of whatever the CDC said, more than 10 or
right. But yeah, now we don't have to wear them outdoors, right?
hasn't that been a thing for a while?
Well, yeah, for a little while. Well, scientists have been saying it for like the last 6 months, that we
Yeah.
didn't have to wear them outdoors. But the CDC, I think finally started to officially relax the rule.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
the science has never changed though.
So tell me about like when you were on one of your trips to Florida and Oklahoma, you were saying that you were in a nightclub and it was jam packed.
Oh yeah, but this was what? March, right?
Yeah.
March? No, it was April. April we were in Florida
Mhm.
and you didn't even need a mask to get in, first off.
Mhm.
And then it was body to body. And if there's any place in the world that you could get COVID, it'd be in one of those clubs in Tampa Bay, Florida.
Right.
But no, yeah, it's a whole new world. Nobody really, especially the younger population,
Mhm.
we're kind of over it by now.
Yeah. I get that. Here in California, I think, it's just a lot more regimented, right? There's a lot more
Oh, it's
discipline.
way more strict here.
Yeah. Now, when you're visiting these other states, do people like give you hell because you're from California?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
what do they say?
Well, they all are like, "Oh, you've been locked up for like the past 12 months, yada yada yada," and then the classic like Democratic, whatever,
Right. So like
liberal.
they
this and
assume
that.
that you're like a hardcore progressive,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, where do you line up if
Moderate.
kind of a moderate, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm your son.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. So
A
all
lot
good.
like yours.
So again, we welcome your thoughts and comments here on the live stream. Feel free to chime in with some questions for Trevor or for I. Let's talk a little bit about vaccinations. How many of your friends have been vaccinated?
Almost all of them, besides, Zach.
Yeah, because he's in Oklahoma,
Yeah,
right?
he's in Oklahoma, but all my friends here, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm still waiting on my second one.
That's coming up pretty quick, isn't it? Like in a week?
22nd, I get my second one. Shannon got her second one today.
Yeah, that's right. She did get
Yeah.
that today. So what's today's date? Today's the 14th. So
14th,
you have
so
like
a
8 days
week, yeah.
until you get your second one. So you're almost legit.
Yeah.
So all good. Yeah, I think it's interesting. Like I went into a business today to go to check my mail over at Postal Annex, and I was wondering if they were starting to think about relaxing rules. I don't think they can yet, but I think it's going to
About
be,
masks.
yeah. But I think it's around June 15th that I think some of the indoor rules are going to relax in California. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on who you go to, and like today at the computer shop, me and him didn't wear a mask.
Yeah,
I walked in, he wasn't wearing his when he was talking, so I just took mine off.
right.
I don't know.
So that was what's the name of his place? Do you remember?
ProTech
ProTech. It's
Computer Repairs
on Poway Road,
on
right?
Poway Road, yeah.
He's a good guy,
He's a
isn't
great
he?
guy, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy.
So yeah, for computer repair, we brought our stuff down there to see him. He does a great job. Um, yeah. So tell me a little more about like how has COVID, I mean, I kind of know the answer to this question, but how has COVID affected your life
No,
this
it's
last year?
it's changed it drastically. I mean, it switched up everything I knew,
So
like that.
yeah. So tell me about
I
it.
mean, it started in March of 2020, yeah, when
Right.
we shut everything down. It was the middle of our or not in the middle, it was towards the end of our junior college baseball season. We were ramping up for the playoffs. I remember we were sitting in the locker room just joking about it, like, oh, they're gonna, just joking, like, oh, we're not gonna be able to finish the season. Everybody's on Twitter
Hmm.
scrolling through, seeing the headlines, and then they did shut everything down, and when they shut everything I did down,
Hmm.
going to play baseball every day, going to school every day. So it changed everything I knew real quick.
Right. It's been hard,
It's
hasn't it?
been real hard, yeah. I mean, I had to change everything I did on a day-to-day basis.
I always think that you've gotten robbed. I mean, because I know for me that my college days were some of the best times of my life. I met wonderful people that are
Oh, yeah.
still friends to me today as a guy in his mid-50s. And it's a time when you're growing up. But in your case, a lot of that was stolen from you.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was lucky because I was at junior college and living at home still,
Hmm.
and, I mean, yeah, I missed out on a lot, but I don't think I missed out on much as, like, some people that were, like, say, here from out of state at schools and stuff like that,
Hmm.
locked down in, like, your dorm room or your college apartment would
Right.
be really tough, with everyone there at your disposal and not being able to do things, and
Right. Yeah, that'd be tough. Well, the good news is I think we're kind of on the home stretch, right? We're getting close to the end of this, I think.
yeah.
I know there's still some people that are paranoid that even if the mask rules relax, they want to still keep wearing masks.
Yeah, I see people like that, like, "Oh, get your stinky breath away from me. I didn't like it anyways," you know? They're all, "I should have worn a mask before COVID," type people, like,
Right.
"Oh, I haven't gotten a cold in a year. Why would I stop wearing a mask?" Stuff like that. But, I think people have been preaching this from the beginning that there's a health benefit to everything,
Yeah.
to not wearing a mask too.
So we got a comment here on the live stream from Jaron, and he says, "Lift the restrictions. Get vaccinated if you want. Let people wear a mask if it makes them feel
Yeah,
better. But it's time to get back to normal before COVID permanently compromises human interaction."
I agree. Let people make their own decisions.
Yeah, I figure now that we can get the vaccine, we're kind of at an
Yeah,
inflection point, right?
it's one way or the other.
Right. So you either get the vaccine, you're safe or reasonably safe, or you don't get the vaccine, and
But
then
that's your choice.
it's your choice, and then you assume the risk of your choice, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, like in the baseball world, man, I'm like talking about a local guy here in Poway, Phil Nevin, right? The third base coach of the Yankees. He was fully vaccinated, and then he got the COVID virus.
I think a couple were Myers and Tatis and them
Well,
vaccinated?
I know Chris Paddock was.
Yeah, and he got it?
Yeah, so he was fully vaccinated, and then he got it, and he tested positive twice. Now, I don't know the story yet on Tatis and Myers. In terms of were they vaccinated? I don't know the answer to that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, it's just it's hell on the pros, right?
On the pros,
Yeah.
the COVID situation.
Yeah.
I mean,
But it's nothing compared to what you
yeah,
went
they
through.
did it. I mean, they didn't change much in my besides not playing,
Right.
but and not playing in front of fans, but their season kind of went on as such. But like in junior college, like what I played, and they shut everything down. We couldn't practice. We couldn't even see each other.
Well, tell me like some of the restrictive rules. I remember like to do batting practice. Like what
Yeah,
was it?
when it first shut, it was like 6 months of like a blackout zone. You know,
Right.
nobody even discussed
Right.
talking about going to play baseball. And then when it was a discussion, it was like you can only have one coach per player. So if you have two players, you need two coaches. So if I wanted to throw a bullpen with a catcher, I would need two coaches there present, technically according to the COVID restrictions, whatever that means.
Really?
And then they were saying how they can only use like you have to use like a different set of balls or something like that every time like only one person could hit like a bucket of balls for a round of BP, and then he would have to use their own baseballs like the whole time, stuff like that.
It's because you didn't want someone else touching the ball, which they thought the virus could be
Yeah,
transmitted
over
by
a
the ball,
baseball, yeah, somehow.
which scientifically I think that's not
Yeah,
really
no, we were
happening.
literally in Zooms like discussing, like, oh, what if the coaches wore gloves? Like we were just trying to find any loophole past it,
Right.
but you
But
can't.
it's in the air. I mean, that's how it's transmitted, right?
I mean, that's what they tell
That's what they
us.
tell us. And if you're outdoors on a ball field, I mean,
That's like seems like the best place to be.
exactly. You know, instead they want to kind of coop everyone at home, and it's in indoor locations where people get it.
Yeah.
So it's something. Couple more comments here. Pat Johnson. I agree. Kids in college and high school lost a lot, and hopefully August everything will be open again.
I've always thought the kids in high school right now, that'd be tough. Like your senior year of high school, like this whole class of 2021, they missed their whole year, senior year of high school,
Yeah.
and that would be sad. I'd
W-
be really upset with that. I mean, they probably don't even know what they missed, but senior year of high school is one of the
Well, you're missing out
my
on
favorite
prom.
memories. Yeah.
You're missing out on
I
graduation.
saw that they're Poway High denied prom, but like Nikki Boyer, remember the
Yeah.
college bound, the
Yeah.
Nikki Boyer? I
Yeah.
see her on social media. They're the moms. I don't know if it's PTSA or whatever,
Yeah.
are planning their own prom. They like booked a venue and everything.
So it's like rogue prom.
You need to be. Oh, it's rogue prom, but you
Yeah.
need to be vaccinated or have like a negative test.
Really?
Yes.
That's actually kind of good,
Yeah.
right?
I don't know how popular it is, but they still actually denied their prom this year too. You know, which is crazy.
Nuts. I mean, so yeah, graduation, prom, homecoming, a lot of stuff going on. I mean, senior year plus your BMOC, right? You know?
Yeah. And then all your sports you played.
Yeah, for
Like the
sure.
Poway High football season just ended, I think, or something crazy like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I just saw on my social media feed some of the parents are
I see
talking
the
about their
soccer team
kids.
out there yesterday playing.
They
They're
were.
still like a fall sport, you know?
They're just fitting them in wherever they can.
Probably.
Amazing. So I mean, yeah, it's been unbelievably turbulent. So I'm hoping that we start getting back to normal.
We are.
Yeah.
I think we are going in the right direction now, finally. I think finally, like, it's been like sideways, whip up and down, but now it feels like everything's going like in one direction.
Yeah, finally. Because people are getting vaccinated,
Mhm.
right?
Now there's like a clear path of what's going to happen. Seems
Mhm.
like. What did Biden say? Like June?
Yeah, I think he was 4th of July, I think was when he was aiming for. But I think by June 1st, everyone that wants a vaccine should be able to get it by June 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And so today's the 14th. So we got like a half a month to go. Pat Johnson on the live stream, Patrick, that's Pat's son, was a senior at Cal State San Marcos and took a lighter load and extended a year to graduate the
That's
following
exactly
year.
what I did at
Yeah.
Palomar. Exactly what I did.
But you've had friends that have like taken
A
gap
whole year
years.
off, yeah. I know a decent amount of people that took a whole year off of their academics.
So what did they do?
Work.
Just worked.
Because you could go work at a Nordstrom's and whatever you want, or an In-N-Out anywhere else, but you couldn't go to school. So
Yeah.
why not go make money, not spend money?
And on top of it, the quality of the education was
It's terrible. Online education.
well. Tell me about your experience at Palomar, because I would hear you so frustrated about it.
It's awful. Teachers, I feel bad for the teachers too. They obviously were just as unprepared for everything as us, but I don't know. It's been pretty rough. People, it's just some of the communication, I feel like, is probably the main thing that's lacking. Clarification with what assignment is what's due when. is just so much harder when you don't have someone in front of you. Being able to sit down and watch a recorded lecture is impossible. I don't care. Anybody who says they watch recorded lectures lies. That's impossible.
Okay.
That's the most boring thing in the world you can imagine doing, is sitting down and watching a recorded lecture.
Right.
And I don't know, it's tough. It's just it's in one ear, out the other at its finest right now.
What about like the online, the platform, the online education platform, the software you used?
Not good.
Because you would get
I would yeah,
frustrated. I
I
remember.
was doing a statistics course, and luckily I have a bigger monitor. Obviously, I have a nicer desktop in there, and I have a decent sized monitor, but I was doing statistics problems on like probably a 4-inch by 4-inch box with 30 different values in there that I had to use and calculate and all that. I just imagine a kid trying to do that on a laptop screen is like even harder.
So it's like a little
A little
window
box, and it had
inside.
like 30 different values that I needed to pull
You
and
had to scroll
calculate
up
it.
and
Yeah.
down. Oh, that'd be hell.
Any of your scrolls aren't accurate. It's just, oh man.
I remember you were going through an assignment once, and I remember you dragged me into your room. You go, look at this.
Yeah, I'm
Someone
like,
else
someone
needs to
has to
see
see
this.
this. Like, this is just insane. It just like, did the teachers look? Did the teachers use their software that they're assigning their students? I don't think so.
I think a lot of schools, like especially even in the high schools, they were learning as they went. I mean, it's like building the airplane while it's flying in the air, you
Yeah,
know?
but I think the problem is they kept the same expectations as their in-person expectations of this many assignments this semester. This is going to go to this assignment. We have to do these assignments. And then they start pushing you and from wherever they live in their house, and you're like, "Wait, what is this?"
Right.
You don't know exactly what it was, and the readings and the lectures aren't as clear as when you're not asking questions. And yeah, you can ask questions on Zoom, but it's all different. I'm sure
Well,
you know
tell
too.
me the story about the webcam. Remember you used to always borrow my webcam?
Yeah, they proctor tests. So they'll make you so it's a whole process. So if you don't even have access to easy technology, or not even access to, you can have access to internet, but at this point you need access to a nice working computer to operate some of these programs. It's a program called Proctorio. You can only get on Google Chrome. It's an extension, and it monitors your everything going on your monitor. So all your browsers, applications you have open, it can monitor all that. And then you have to plug in a webcam. So, like me, I didn't have a webcam, so I had to borrow one of yours.
Mhm.
So most laptops have webcams, but imagine if you didn't have a webcam or someone that
Ri
has
Yeah,
webcams.
yeah, exactly.
You got to go through all that, and they also have a microphone, like literally everything. It's like they're sitting there next to you.
Right. And then,
That's
yeah, and a lot of
ridiculous.
your fellow students probably either didn't have it or didn't know how to set it up. It was
And
probably
then
chaos.
it's also a program. It's not like someone's watching all of us. It's a
Mhm.
program that will send a note to our teacher like, "Oh, this person had their eyes gazed away from the screen," type thing. For real though. That's how it works.
So just insane. Got a couple more comments here. Um, Jaron goes on to say, sad for the high school and college students graduating. I was more worried about younger kids who were starting school. Studies show that elementary school are the most pivotal years for development. So yeah. I mean, imagine being like a 6-year-old in an online class.
I mean, imagine being a 6-year-old in an online class and your parents are trying to work during the day, and then you guys would hate me.
That would be chaos. And then Pat goes on to say Trevor is spot on. Patrick and Catherine said the same thing about expectation, but the teachers were less available.
Yeah,
So
totally. There's something there huge. I mean, you probably notice in business meetings, there's that dialogue that's person to person, and you can just understand everything better.
oh yeah.
And
Well, even in this podcast, I've been having guests on the podcast and doing it here kind of like on live stream, but is essentially like Zoom,
yeah,
but it's not as personal as this kind of a discussion. Yeah. Let's shift gears a bit. You've been telling me a lot about your social media feed and all the stuff that like a lot of people your age are commenting on.
oh
So
yeah.
I want to hear a little bit about that because I'm like paying attention to the old gray-haired people. What are the young people talking about on social media these days?
These days, I mean, it all started with the COVID things and everybody being locked indoors.
Hmm.
Everybody started taking to social media to spread their word all over. And I mean, any political debate you could think of, a 20 to 20-year-old. 1-year-old's probably spamming about it somewhere on their social media, one side or the other,
Hmm.
very passionately too.
Right.
Some people more data driven than others. I don't know.
But like, what are some of the topics other than COVID that people?
COVID, Black Lives Matter, Poway High. That was that whole thing that involved that too. The newer stuff with Israel and everything going on in the Middle East too. Oh, the Biden Trump thing was endless. Still is endless.
Right.
You know, Trump supporters always posting memes about, like, I saw one I actually thought was kind of funny yesterday. It was a picture of Kamala Harris,
Hmm.
the video when they won. And it's like,
Yeah.
"We did it, Joe." That video.
Yeah.
And it's her with like the "We did it, Joe," and it's like the gas station pump's like out of business. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
But
I
you
saw,
see it on both
yeah.
sides. You see
Yeah.
it
Of
on both
course.
sides, people
Yeah.
poking fun at each other. But no, there's a ton, a ton.
So what's the Poway High topic? Refresh my memory on that one.
Well, it was during when the Black Lives Matter like movement was really strong, and then it was out there that there was a social media page. I think it was named Black and PUSD.
Oh yeah, it was an Instagram
It was an
page.
Instagram page where people that went to Poway Unified School District stories anonymously, I can't say that word,
Yeah.
shared their stories, and that blew up. That was like 2 weeks of like everybody, and went to Poway, you're older, younger, posting about it, agreeing, disagreeing. And it was
Right.
mainly stories, people sharing of their personal accounts of racism on campuses.
Right. I mean, what did you witness when you were there?
It's walking on glass.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is. That's
But
a tough question.
no, I don't think I witnessed. I can pretty confidently say I didn't witness any firsthand racism at
Right.
all.
Hmm.
I think Poway has gotten an extremely bad rep recently. I
Hmm.
mean, our senior year, there was the whole redneck nation thing that they
Oh yeah.
blew into the sky all over the news, and
Hmm.
I think it's gotten a bad rep that that all that stuff's going on. I think it's a great school.
Well, the good news is, I think, is that the school district
Very
is now,
inclusive.
they're changing a lot of the curriculum. They're having more kind of ethnic studies. They're trying to blend in a little bit more diversity in terms of not only the teachers but also the curriculum.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much that really, but I thought Poway was pretty diverse.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's just where we live demographically. I mean, and it's going to be not extremely diverse compared to other parts of the country, and that's what you got to expect in any part of the country you go to. But I know there's plenty of people all over the country that would have given him a leg and arm to take classes at Poway High School.
Right.
I think it was really had a lot of good things about it.
What was your
And
favorite thing about Poway High?
it's a good question. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that. I don't know. I think there was like a camaraderie and like a spirit there. Like everyone just like kind of like the whole time growing up, everybody was going to Poway High, and it was like this huge thing. Like finally getting to the school that the city you live in that has the name, and
Right.
you get there, and it's like all the friends you've grown up with, and then that had friends that knew someone at Meadowbrook maybe when you're at Twin Peaks. Oh, I've heard of this person, and you finally get to meet him, and then they all just like kind of like mesh not perfectly, but
Yeah.
like all kind of meshes into one. And it's like I just like how it's just one high school for one city. And like
Right.
I felt like I knew, I obviously probably didn't, knew most of the class and knew
Hmm.
like who they were, and like I would say some of them like where they lived and like what they like to do. It just felt like more personal than being at like some of these huge high schools like some of my buddies went to in like Texas and Oklahoma and stuff like that.
Well, how big were those schools?
Their graduating class was 3,000,
Really?
which is the population of high school, and that was just one class.
So you're
They had Matt Foster had his graduation in the Dallas Cowboys practice center stadium.
really
Yeah, huge. It's
unbelievable.
huge, like 20,000 people there. It's just
Well, because all the family and
yeah,
everyone
it's
there for the
ridiculous.
graduation. Um,
But I liked how like personal and like it felt like a real family there. I think that's why I think it gets a bad light for one or two stories when the majority of the picture is good.
do you have a favorite teacher from your days at Poway?
Miss Carr.
Okay. What does she teach?
English.
Okay. Why did you like her?
She's an amazing human being.
Really?
Nicest woman I ever met.
Right on.
She wrote me a letter. I took her class first semester of freshman year, and we kept in touch all throughout of high school. She wrote me a letter of rec senior year. I would go eat lunch with her some days in her room. After we graduated, we had lunch with her and like a few other students. Like before we left for college, she like reached out to us.
Right on.
Amazing woman.
Nice.
They always did. She only taught 1 or 2 like freshman English classes, and then like her other classes were helping like I don't know the word for the name of the classes, but it's like where English wasn't their first language.
Yeah, ESL.
Yes.
English as a second language.
Yeah, that.
Right on.
So she's a great human being, and her kids were always there too, and it was a good time. Her class was really nice.
Cool. Cool. Yeah. So I was really happy, when both you and Shannon were at Poway High. It was kind of nice having both your kids there because I agree. As a parent, we always kind of saw it as like, you finally get to Oz, right?
Yeah, it was just like everything was building up for it. Like my whole time growing up, I was playing for the Poway Titans basketball or baseball or whatever it was, soccer, the Poway Vaqueros, Poway this, Poway that. It was like finally like you can go be at Poway,
Right.
like well, you're finally.
So it's legit.
And like everyone kind of felt that too.
So I wanted to ask you a couple of things. Because as parents, we only kind of have a bird's eye view of what actually happens on campus, when we're invited for parent teacher conferences or we're there for events. Share with me just some stories of things that go on at Poway High that maybe parents don't know about.
Parents don't know about?
Yeah, or just kind of a little inside scoop or crazy stories you remember from being at Poway High.
Well, I mean, I'm guessing the majority of the viewers here went to Poway or know a lot about Poway. I think the cool thing I like about it, I guess I'm just talking from my perspective, is when you go talk to other people like that didn't grow up in Southern California, it's like an outdoor school.
Right.
And you go outside and there's an open quad. Like I said, the family thing, you literally walk out and it's everybody's there. You can just pick, I want to walk over here or walk over there, talk to these people and these people over here. But I don't know, the inside scoop. It's high school.
It's just high school.
It's high school.
All right. It's all good. So tell me, I like covering a lot of Poway topics just because, we have a lot of guests here, and Trevor George on the live stream. Yeah. He says, Mrs. Carr was the best.
I don't think I don't know if he had the same period as me.
And then Pat Johnson said, "You've said old gray hair people twice now. Speak for yourself, brother." Pat Johnson's been growing out his hair. You got to see this guy. Yeah. He looks like a Nordic god because he's out in Norway. He's been traveling in Norway all the time. Yeah. So tell me again. I enjoy talking about Poway stuff on the podcast. Tell me the story that you shared with me about taking Seth down a Poway Road.
Okay, I don't know. I don't think Seth's listening. Seth Murphy. He goes to San Luis Obispo, Cal Poly. And he'd been up there this whole semester, and last week is his first week back since January. And we drive down Palmerado, and you take a left down Poway, and you just go wrap around the bowling alley. He's like, "What is that?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "The buildings, where are these?" I'm like, "Those are the apartment complexes, they just went up that fast. It's crazy." But they stand out.
Yeah, they do.
Because you don't see multi-level buildings in Poway.
No, you don't. No, you not
That's
at
what
all.
the first thing I'm like, damn, that's tall. That's like the first thing I noticed.
I mean, people are freaking out, man. I mean, seriously, there's a lot of neighbors that are really, really angry because they didn't see it coming, but it had been discussed.
It got discussed, but
he had been out of town for so long, and then he comes back,
and they're up quick.
And they go up, they go vertical quickly, for sure. Yeah, so I mean, it'll be interesting because I think there's a lot of people that want to move to Poway, right? So we might see.
Are there? I don't know.
Well, there are. I mean, you try to sell a house in Poway, and it's sold like in a couple of weeks after it goes for sale.
I bet.
But I know that the people that
I thought people wouldn't want to move to California right now.
No, well, there's people. Well, there's a hell of a lot of people that want to stay. That's for sure. So it's a mix. But I often wonder, like, if people are gonna raise children in those apartments. I don't know.
I think that would be good. Isn't there like a decline in the amount of enrollment in Poway High and like the
Yeah.
Poway Little Leagues and stuff like that?
Yeah, there is.
I
So
could I could tell. I could tell growing up that there just seemed to be like a lesser of a younger population.
you could.
Yeah. I think this might sound naive, but it felt like we were like the last class to go through Poway. But I'm sure that's how everyone feels when they graduate. But it felt like we were like the last real Poway
Yeah.
class. I don't know.
It has thinned out quite a bit, that's for sure.
Did they combine Little Leagues? Didn't you tell
No,
me
they
that?
talked about
They
doing it,
talked about
but they couldn't do it because it would have been too large of a geographic area or too large of a population so that the all-star teams would be too good.
Maybe so good. That'd be cool.
But so they had to keep them separate.
Imagine we combined our all-star teams. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, it would have been really good. Yeah, no doubt. Let's talk a little bit about like some stuff in sports. So you're pretty fired up about Manchester City right now, huh?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more. What's going on with Man City?
We just won the Premier League.
So
We. I mean, I don't know how to explain like how liking from. I mean, I have an extremely amateur view of soccer. I don't know how many of your listeners are huge soccer fans, but I don't know how it is to explain being a Man City fan. I don't like comparing it to the Yankees because I don't like comparing it to the Yankees.
Yeah.
But it's almost like I like comparing it to now like being a Padres fan. They're the team, that's been kicked down by their like rival Manchester United or the Dodgers, that have always had more money and better players and like the legends. And we've never really had anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a bandwagoner. I started liking them in 2016 when they got money, and then they started picking up players and won their first championship in 2017 and all that. But yeah, they just won their fourth Premier League title in like the last 5 years, I think, something crazy like that.
That's huge.
3, I really like the last 5. But yeah, it's huge. And then they got the Champions League, which is the best team in Europe, like at the end of May against Chelsea.
And it might be in England or it might be in Turkey.
It is probably going to be in England. They just canceled the F1 race in Turkey too.
They did.
Yeah. There's going to be 2 races in Austria now.
So why was the F1 race canceled?
Same reason. Travel restrictions.
Because of COVID or because of the violence in Israel?
It said travel restrictions. That's all.
Okay.
I didn't guess. I thought it was COVID. That was the soccer talk, that it was COVID.
Okay.
Because Turkey put England on the red tier. England put Turkey on the red tier. Something like that.
Okay. So, so that's coming up. Yeah, like in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right near the end of the month.
That's the only thing that Manchester's missing as a club to be legendary. This past 4 years with Pep as the coach.
Now, you turned me on to that series on Amazon Prime, and that was really good.
You finished it?
I have one more episode to watch. I've watched 5 of the 6, but you had told me about it because I know I'll watch some of the game with you, but I don't know the players like you do. But I watched that Amazon Prime series. It was great. Now I feel like I know the players, but I know a lot of them are on the team again.
Yeah, that 2017 team had a lot of people that left, but now the young guys are great.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah, well, I feel a little more connected now, so that's good.
They had a game today. They won 4-3, but it was a game that didn't matter.
Okay.
They started. Their goalkeeper hadn't start a game in the Premier League for 4,000 something days.
Wait, that's like over 10 years. So this wasn't the.
It's like some old like they won already, so
Yeah.
they're literally just like almost screwing around.
Yeah.
With their lineup, it's all the U20 guys,
Right.
And then this old head in the goal.
By someone like me with gray hair.
But it was funny because when you win the Premier League, the next your last how many games you have remaining, the teams give you like a tunnel walkout clap.
Okay.
So it's like has it start in 4,000 days in the Premier League and then walks out through like a champions clap like entrance.
Well, good for that guy.
Yeah,
you're getting his opportunity.
But so how the goalkeepers go, Man City's Ederson is the main one, but what they don't. The backup now is Stefan, which is the U.S. guy, the U.S. goalie. Cool. So that's cool. So the U.S. Man City have Stefan. Chelsea have Pulisic, so Americans going to win the Champions League for the first time ever.
Pulisic, yeah, that kid's good.
So the first time Americans won in the Champions League.
That's good news.
Yeah, Stefan won't play though, but Pulisic will.
Yeah, well, he'll be one of the main guys, right? That's great. So I'm looking forward to that match. I mean, there'll be you and Seth going head to head, basically. Fans of each of those teams. What are your thoughts on the Padres right now?
Oh man, I'm glad that we're still have the record we have with how bad we're playing. I feel like that's a good way to
Yeah.
describe it. Sucks with the injuries we have right now. We're going to a game Saturday night,
Yeah, right.
and we're not gonna be able to see Tatis and Myers. Um, but no, I think it's as bad as it is. I think it's a good sign because it's gonna come around. I think the hitting's gonna come around, and
Yeah.
you're still winning games with Blake Snell, a former runner-up for the Cy Young, not being able to go more than like 4 innings.
Well, no, he actually won it.
He won the last game he went out, right?
No, he won the Cy Young in
Oh, yeah,
2018.
2018.
Darvish was the runner-up.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
Wasn't he the runner-up last year?
Darvish, I think was.
Wasn't Snell?
No, Snell won it in 18.
But what about last year?
I don't know what his deal was last year. I think the main thing with last year is that he had that great game
Yeah.
against the Dodgers.
And he got pulled.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. Machado and Tatis can't really hit that well right now, which
Mhm.
is kind of insane. You can't expect the pitching to be this amazing or the bullpen to be this amazing this long.
Yeah, they're going to crap out at some point, right?
They've been
Arms are going to
using-
start fall off.
I mean, I don't know how many times Chris Mack can just roll out there and be that good as he's been. So,
Well, Pomeranz is going to probably go on the IL.
yeah, he's always had shoulder problems, right?
Yeah, this is like a lat problem. What's a lat? Is that like here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I used to get that sometimes. It's from when you
Oh, from the extension.
I would get soreness down here.
So kind of like in the rib cage area.
Yeah, that's a good place to get soreness. So.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, because it's not on the elbow or the shoulder, right?
Yeah.
Which is where you don't want it.
That's where I got that my JV year. I had it pretty bad. I remember, and Andy, oh, that's good,
Yeah.
and massage out.
Nice. Yeah. So we're going to go to the ball game on Saturday because we got family in town, and it's our cousin and her husband, and the husband is a huge Cardinals fan, and so they're in town. We're going to go watch the Padres and the Cardinals on Saturday night, and then the Padres are going to be Manny Machado and a AAA team.
And Hosmer, right? Oh, no Hosmer.
No Hosmer, no Myers, no Tatis, not even Profar.
It should be $1 beers.
Yeah,
at the park.
I agree. And I think when we go on Saturday night, it'll be Paddock. He'll be pitching.
Man, we're in for a toss-up.
But he looked good in his last outing.
Yeah, I want him to do well. Who's going for the Cardinals? Do you know?
I think it might be Wainwright.
Of course, it's Wainwright. And Wainwright and Molina.
Yeah, so that's what we're looking forward to on Saturday.
That's good to see Wainwright pitch.
Yeah, he's kind of an older dude.
Wainwright Molina, best batter in the history of baseball.
Well, not the history, but they're up there.
It's arguable.
Yeah, at least
what would you put in front of them?
In current times, it might be.
I don't know. I don't probably know enough about past baseball, but
yeah, we have to go back. I mean,
like way back, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, like the Yankees, like Whitey Ford and Yogi Berra. I mean, I'm sure we can. Roy Campanella and Sandy Koufax, and
I think they have the record for the most games together, though. I think that's a true statement.
That's probably true. Yeah, that's probably true.
I can't imagine her catching as long as Molina's caught for.
Oh my God. Yeah, I agree. Well, here's Pat Johnson on the live stream. Ask Trevor, which is more important, find a great job and make lots of money, or find a good job and make enough money to travel and have fun? Just curious on hearing the younger generation's answer.
That's easy. I want to travel so bad. I would easily find a job that makes enough money and travel all over. If it was me right now, I wouldn't live in a single place for more than a year.
Right.
I want to bounce all over. But I think it's a combination of COVID having me locked up. And, I don't know, my young ambition.
Well, when you're in your 20s is the time when you should do that.
Yeah.
Because you have no marriage, no mortgage. I mean, you are a free agent and you can do that sort of thing. Or maybe you get a job that you can travel with your job.
Exactly. That's the dream, honestly.
Yeah.
Make money while I'm traveling.
Right. When I was younger, I traveled a lot. And I remember I used to always try to go to the ballpark, whatever city I was in.
Absolutely. I'd have to. That's what we did in Florida, or we didn't make it to the ballpark, but we tried.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, where do you want to go? Where's
Europe.
You're going to want to go to Europe. Where in Europe do you want to go?
I want to go see a Manchester City game. Obviously, that'd be number one. And everywhere. I want to see the French Alps. I always see pictures of those. The French Alps, go get lost in there, and Switzerland. And I want to go, like you were talking about, Norway. I want to go to like the Northern European areas. And then obviously all of the history that you can go through in Germany and Italy and all that too. And then I was just listening to a podcast today about from Joe Rogan and talking about going to Antarctica. I think I'd really sparked my interest.
Really?
Yeah, I think it would be cool. Like going to a really desolate place for a bit and just like hanging out. Yeah.
Wow. Antarctica.
Just to see it.
Okay, just to see it. Okay.
But he
Yeah.
was talking about how he went on this like hunt for caribou in Antarctica.
Oh yeah,
It's
well
just wild.
Rogan. Yeah, it would be something like that, something manly.
I don't know if I'd be doing all that, but
Yeah, well,
I'm sure there's
I
like
want you to travel.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do. I want that to happen. I know when Shannon was in college, she had an opportunity to study abroad for the summer in Florence. So I hope at minimum you have that opportunity, still in front of you. So yeah, good. Yeah, travel's good. So hopefully we got Pat's answer there. Yeah, a couple other things to talk about. What about the NBA, man? We're getting to the NBA playoffs. Do you have any thoughts on it?
NBA.
Yeah.
I can't watch the NBA. Like I have the Clippers in my phone, so I'll see their final scores. But
Yeah.
I could call myself a Clippers fan.
Yeah, we used to be a lot more into the Clippers when you were younger.
When Blake Griffin was there originally, and back when the NBA was a little more competitive in my mind.
Right.
Or maybe I just saw it like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the NBA right now is in a bad spot. I think they're losing viewership. That's non-disputable, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think they are.
Well, they don't have fans, right?
They don't have fans there still. No, I went to a Magic game, and that was awful.
Well, yeah.
That was awful. That's the part of the NBA that's failing, is those lower tier teams that are just like so bad, and they don't have any ambition to be better. It seems like they just are so fine with losing to the Bucks by 50.
Well, yeah. Well, tell me that story.
We went to Florida, bought tickets the month in advance, for a Bucks Magic game. And sure as hell, the morning we wake up, Giannis is not playing.
Right.
Another 2 guys are out for the Bucks. I can't remember their name too. Top guys, because they're playing the damn Magic.
Right.
And we show, and from the tip, the Magic were just down 20. It felt like from the tip.
Right.
They're lagging around,
Mm-hmm.
throwing it up, getting buzzer counts, traveling. You're like, dude. And then the Bucks won by like 40. I think they were up by 50 at one point. It was just
really.
And then it's like the whole stadium, they just nobody out of there wanted, like on the Magic looked like they wanted to score, like wanted the ball. It was bad.
Well, how does the weaker teams in the NBA compare with the weaker teams in the Premier League? Is it the same dynamic?
There's more pride in the Premier League. There's more pride because you have relegation in the Premier League. You can go out of the Premier League if you finish at the bottom.
So you get bumped down to like the baseball equivalent of AAA.
Exactly. It's like that would be insane. Like the MLB had a tier list like that. Like the bottom 10 teams in the MLB, AAA. Top 10 teams in AAA, pros. That'd be crazy.
As a Padre fan, that'd be awful. I mean, we would have been in AAA forever.
We might have been in single A by now.
I know, really.
They just keep going down.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So, and the NBA playoffs are coming. So kind of.
But I like the whole. I love LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the whole aspect of what's happened. They have like a play-in tournament almost now.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Lakers are about to slip into that.
Yeah.
Because LeBron last year was like, you guys should create this thing, let the bottom 4 guys battle it out for the 8th spot or whatever it is. I'm not sure exactly the concept like that. I think it's like the bottom 4 play for the 8th spot. Something like that.
I think there's seeds number 7, 8, 9, and 10 are in the mix, but I don't know how they feed into the bracket.
Because it used to just be the top 8, right?
Yeah, top 8, both sides.
But now, like LeBron's like, whoever invented that should be fired. Because they're about to, because LeBron hasn't played half the year. Same with AD,
right?
And then that's terrible for the market. Like that was like if Tatis had COVID every other week, you're like, what the hell is this? Like,
yeah, exactly. Your star player making all the money and they're not playing. It kind of makes me wonder if they're just sandbagging it. Like if they, it's like with Kawhi and his load management.
Oh yeah, no, they totally are. Giannis was out with a knee injury when we went there, and he was jumping off the bench and sprinting whenever they dunked the ball.
Cheering on his guys.
He could have dropped 45 that night, but he just didn't want to. He just showed up that night. Coach,
Yeah. And then how much are people paying for those tickets? I mean, insane.
They're like the whole, you could see like the stands was half Giannis jerseys at the Magic game because nobody cares about the Magic. They bought tickets to go see Giannis.
Right.
And then it was literally like the stadium was kind of COVID out, so it was pretty sparse, but right when the game and halftime ended, it was a mob by the tunnel just for Giannis.
Yeah.
Just in street clothes. Didn't play at all. His
Amazing.
brother was playing though. You know, his brothers
Yeah.
are both on the team now, or one's on the Lakers, I think.
There are 2 brothers?
Yeah,
There's 3 of them?
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was only
The
2.
oldest one, okay, I think that's how the oldest one and Giannis are on the Bucks, and the youngest one's on the Lakers.
So Giannis is the middle one?
Yeah.
Interesting. So, wow, I mean, it's just a lot going on in the world of sports. I'm looking forward to Saturday night. You know, I think it'd be fun to go out to Petco.
You haven't been?
I went to a game earlier this year.
Oh yeah, you did.
And we went to see him play the Brewers.
We're gonna be interesting seats though.
I know we had a hell of a time getting the tickets. So we'll.
I don't know about the top of the Western Metal Supply building is gonna be cool.
Yeah,
it's gonna be nice.
So we had to end up buying tickets through from season ticket holders on the secondary market. So we have 4 tickets on top of the Western Metal Supply building, and then 4 tickets
in the Budweiser deck.
Yeah, so we're in left field and in right field, right?
The Budweiser deck's like right by where they count the strikeouts. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so yeah, we're going to be scattered about on Saturday night.
That's how it is. You can't find tickets for more than 4 people, really, right now.
Yeah, it's because
they're just season tickets. I'm pretty sure.
Everyone's
and you got to spread them out.
Yeah,
we actually, funny stories, when we went to our game with my buddies, we thought we were our seats, and they had like the covers on them, so we just yanked them off.
Yeah,
sat down. The guy came up, no way, these are your seats. Let me see your tickets. These can't be sold. So
right.
We were in the wrong seats, but we were just like literally on the wrong side of the staircase.
Yeah. Well, they've been I hear they've been zip tying them.
Yeah, they had them like with like a Velcro thing, so we threw
right.
them off.
So
you see that video? Padres guy punching the Rockies fan.
No, what happened?
You haven't seen this video?
What?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God! The Padre fan just decked. Who was it? A fan of
the Rockies? It
really?
was at the Rockies game. Just knocked him out.
That was unbelievable.
Just walks up to him right. It went all over Barstool. They're all hyping him up.
Really?
And the whole Barstool thing. It's funny. It's Pat McAfee's like, "We're back to normal, baby. People are getting punched in the mouth at sporting events." Like he's like, "We're back to normal." I'm like, "You talk shit, you're gonna get hit." I don't know.
Amazing.
Apparently, he didn't press charges. There just came out today that the Rockies fan did not press charges.
Really?
Because like all the Dodgers fans were like, "That's assault on camera," like yada yada yada.
Yeah.
He didn't press charges. So obviously, there's something going back and forth, I think.
Amazing. No, I didn't see that. That is something.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't. It's all over.
Yeah, I must have missed
Padres Twitter. And it's like the people will quote it. It's like story's better than Tatis.
Have you been following the story on Matt Gaetz? Do you know who he is? He's the Republican politician. He's from Florida. And he's been like, dating underage girls.
Yeah, and he has all these allegations, and he's like,
yeah,
cool with it, right, or something weird
apparently,
like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You've been following this at all?
No,
yeah,
I vaguely.
I mean, it's just funny.
I don't really care about politicians in Florida.
No, I mean, but it's funny because that's why I wanted you on this podcast, just to talk about the things that you're seeing and you're witnessing.
Yeah.
I mean, but this is crazy. This is a guy that's like, I don't know, like his late 30s, and he's, quote unquote, dating these underage girls that are like 17, but it's
probably not
mutual. No, and there's it's just nuts. But I'm surprised you haven't been hearing about that.
What's the story? Is he getting prosecuted?
Yeah, like they're talking about it's sex trafficking and all kinds of. It's crazy. It's crazy.
But I think isn't the whole thing is like he's just like on Twitter and just like being normal too while it's all going on or something weird.
Well, he doesn't think it's a problem.
Oh yeah. Oh, I think I saw something on Twitter. It's like my supporters don't care. Like we'll still get votes.
Yeah, weird. But he was like paying these girls to join him on these trips, and it's just insane. And so there's federal investigation on him. I'm surprised you hadn't heard about that. No. So
it's another dark politician story.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's just fun to compare notes. What about what else are you seeing on your social media feed? Like what social media platform do you use the most?
Twitter by far.
Okay.
And Instagram probably number 2. And Reddit a lot too.
Okay. And what are some more of the topics that people your age are paying attention to?
Right now it's heavy in Israel and everything going on out there.
Hmm.
Very one-sided or the other.
Well, yeah,
With a lot of people taking Israel's side or Palestine's side, whatever you feel,
right,
but being very, very vocal about it.
right.
You know, retweet this, quote that, post this on my story, sign this petition.
And so, are these just the chatter overall, or are these from people that you personally know?
People I like, personally, depending on how you define that, but like, yeah, I guess I would say personally know them. Like I've had conversations with them, stuff
Yeah,
like that. But yeah, but it's always funny. There's sometimes like the quiet people, they would never say any of this kind of stuff in person,
right.
be this vocal about an issue in person, but
I mean, but things are just a lot more politicized, right?
extreme right now. It's extremely politicized right now.
Right.
But I don't know. I see a lot of people taking naive stances, as I would call them. Just people posting with their emotions,
Right.
posting this video of these kids getting bombed, and it's just like, oh my gosh,
So, are
feel
you?
bad for this, feel bad for this person.
But are you posting a lot of that stuff?
You follow my I'm pretty quiet on social media.
Yeah, you
I
just
sit back and just like things from
r-
time to time.
exactly.
As I think more people should.
Right, exactly. Well, there's always some people that just can't shut
Oh,
up.
yeah, they can.
I mean, and they live through social media, you
Which is a
know?
bad way to live.
No, I know. It's something
It's
else.
people fall into the trap that this thing has 30,000 likes or retweets, and now, oh, the whole world must think this, But it's not true.
How about the price of gasoline? Are you feeling
Awful.
that?
Oh my gosh. You
So,
don't feel it.
yeah, well, because we drive electric
Yeah,
vehicles,
you
so
don't
but
feel
you
it.
don't. So tell me about it.
It sucks, especially for someone my age. I don't know how they expect anyone to get around in California right now, like working a minimum wage job.
Yeah,
It's I have a 12-gallon tank, cost me $45 to fill it up now.
yeah, because it's like $4 a gallon, right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That's like what if I was still working at Dixie Line, that's like with tax, 2, 3, like 6 to 7 hours of work.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah, after you take the taxes out. Yeah, it is. That's a ton. And then how long does a full tank last you?
280 miles,
So is that like a week or 2
300.
weeks?
Yeah, like right now after COVID, it's like a couple weeks.
Yeah,
But if I was driving to Palomar and back every day, hell, that's probably like maybe a week, if
yeah.
that.
It sucks.
Yeah,
And your car gets good
great. Yeah,
mileage,
especially I'm driving manual too,
right?
which
So
helps.
you're getting probably at least 25 miles a gallon,
It's
probably.
like 24, 25
Yeah,
normally.
exactly. So are some of your friends really struggling with that?
Mhm. I I mean, since high school,
Hmm.
majority of the time, I never it's rare that I fill my tank full.
Right.
It's just budgeting. Same with all my friends. I never see people fill their tank full. Yeah.
So when you were young, you were really young, probably 5, 6 years old. There was a gas shortage and prices were spiking
Didn't
really
get to
bad.
5 or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And one time, we had remember we had an Odyssey minivan, and Pete it was parked in a public parking lot.
It got siphoned.
It got
I remember
siphoned.
that.
Yeah. I mean, it was nuts how expensive gas was. And then I was driving a Chevy Silverado pickup, and my gas
Oh,
tank.
man. I laugh at all the people driving big trucks right
Oh
now.
my God. So my gas tank then was like, I think 23 gallons, something like that. It cost me over $100 to fill it up. And on some of the pumps I would go to, it would climb and maybe it would shut off at $75 or it shut off at 100
Yeah, I
because they're trying to prevent fraud.
you should have seen when we filled up the Dixie Line, semi truck that we took on the roofs. It was like $500, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I guess they don't shut those ones off.
No. Well, yeah, depending on where you get the
Yeah.
fuel. But during that time of crisis, because people were like stealing credit cards and filling up their cars with.
Yeah, you
And
just
so that's why they were always capping them.
that makes sense.
Yeah, but I remember that was frustrated as hell because not only was I spending a
Can't fill a
ton,
full tank
but
up.
I couldn't fill it up, and so I had to come back more frequently.
Mhm.
But yeah, gas prices, man, right now it's crazy. And then like you've been following what's going on like in the southeast, where that pipeline is shut down, and then there's
There's, like
gas lines, and
wasn't there, like, a hacker?
yeah,
And they, like he got paid off, didn't he? Like, a few million?
it's something like that. And the pipeline company, I think, gave him the money.
What did he do?
He's it's called ransomware, right?
What, he just, like, hacked
And apparently, as some of the other country, they hack it in, they lock the system out, so you have no access to the systems or the data. And it was obviously the computer system that not only ran the business, but ran the pipeline. I don't know exactly what was going on, but the people
That's
that
so
ran the business,
crazy.
they had no access to it. So, and you're never really supposed to give in to these people, but apparently they gave in
To the cyber people?
to to the ransomware people. I think it was like $5 million.
Jesus.
That happened to
That was the
Script.
government paid them off or the
I don't know
company?
who paid. I'm not sure, but I heard it was they got paid off. And that happened here locally in San Diego with Scripps Health, the hospitals. They got ransomwared.
Really?
Yeah, like a
Jeez.
week or
Oh.
2 weeks ago.
Didn't like a bunch of UCSD's people's data got leaked or something crazy like that?
That might have been a separate story. I don't know.
Something like that happened at
Yeah,
UCSD.
but yeah, I mean, it's brutal. But yeah, in the Southeast United States, they've gas shortages, gas lines.
Like they don't even have gas
Just some places have run out. Have you ever been in a gas line before? Probably not.
besides Costco.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, besides Costco. When I was a young kid, I remember in the 1970s, there was gas rationing. And only like if you had an odd numbered license plate, you went on certain days, an even number on different days, because they were trying to, you know, essentially reduce demand because there wasn't enough supply.
Mm.
And that's what's happening now, like in Georgia and the Carolinas. I mean, it could be, I mean, as bad as it is here, it could be worse there.
Not the price wise, but
No.
just not having it. Yeah, that's worse.
Now you're paying $4 a gallon for gas, right? Roughly. How much of that do you think is taxes?
Like half?
Almost. It's
Because
$1.20 a gallon.
because a tank in like New Mexico was like 225.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like almost half of it.
Yeah. It's insane. Yeah. It's insane the difference in gas prices. Couple other comments here. Pat Johnson says, ask Trevor, how does he feel about the job President Biden is doing? You think about Mr. Uncle
He's doing
Joe.
the same thing every other president's done, you know, blow smoke, not really accomplish anything.
Right.
I mean, I don't know enough. I think he's done a good job. It feels we got those damn protesters off the corner. Poway. I don't know. That seems like a victory to me. I think he's done a good job. He's rolled out the vaccine pretty damn well compared to any other country.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, people, Trump did that. I don't know. I don't know who did it, but
well, the scientists did it.
Well, yeah, but
you
who
know?
Rolled it out? And,
well, yeah,
but what does the president really do in any aspect? You know, besides blow smoke?
Yeah, he's symbolic. He's symbolic of a lot of things.
I don't know enough. Didn't he rejoin the climate? I like that.
Yeah, the Paris Accord. So
I'm for that.
Right.
But isn't that like how big business has to like reduce emissions, right?
Yeah, well, they want nations to reduce emissions, and then the nations are going to then regulate the businesses to reduce emissions. Yeah.
Okay.
But apparently, if we had joined the Paris Accord, Trump pulled us out, but if we had stayed in, what we're actually doing, how we're actually performing is better than the benchmarks that would have been set.
Well, when we pulled out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because isn't like the whole thing like it's like a benchmark, but it's not really like proportionate to like because India and China. This is what I heard from Zach Doak, so it's the right side. That it's not proportionate to India.
Right, it's not.
In China, that it's like because they produce way more emissions compared to us.
Right, because they're kind of in the same position as America was 100 to 150 years ago when we were going through the Industrial Revolution. Mm-hmm. So they're a lot more, coal based, and they're spewing a lot. So they could never. Well, they could, but if they came down to our level, it would be.
This is what I see a lot of people my age on social media posting about. I don't know if this stat is true. It's like I'm pulling it. I don't know if I'm saying it truthfully. Is like 75% of the world's emissions can be like brought to like 100 companies, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's possible.
If that's true, I mean.
Well, you know who the greatest polluter is in America? It's
Cars.
Cars. The U.S. military.
That makes sense. Yeah.
More so than any company.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What are they? Just all their like rocket fuel?
Well, everything. Yeah. Everything that the military does.
Blowing everything. Yeah. Huh?
Yeah. They probably don't have catalytic converters on those tanks. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, are you happy Trump is gone, or you prefer Biden, or what do you think?
I wouldn't say happy Trump's gone. I'm glad that that controversy that Trump had when he was there is gone.
Right.
Um, Obviously, you support some things. He does some things you don't support at all. Same
Mhm.
here.
Mhm.
So there's some things that probably like I wish Biden took from him that he didn't. But I'm glad that I voted for Biden. Proudly will say
Okay.
that.
All right.
And I wanted him in office
Okay, good. All right.
because I think he's probably doing a better job with all this COVID stuff than Trump would have.
Well, Trump was in denial of it for so
Yeah.
long. Trump wouldn't wear a mask and said it was gonna disappear.
I enjoyed some of his things about what he said, but he just took it too far at
I
points,
agree.
and he made that opinion look stupid. That there's data to back some of the stuff he's saying, but he just threw
Yeah.
it out the window. Now you're just an extremist if you think it.
Yeah. Let's go back here on the live stream. A couple more questions. Pete Neild says things to ask college age people. My number one: internal combustion or electric cars. Which do you prefer?
This is a good question. I love your electric cars. I really do. I've always wanted one, honestly, since like you guys have driven them. Tesla's great. Mom's Tesla's great. But ever since I've been driving stick now,
Yeah.
I enjoy like a real engine. So if it were to be like I had all the money in the world right now, I'd probably still get a combustion
Right.
car,
Would it be an automatic or a manual transmission?
manual.
Yeah. So this is a great story because when you learned to drive on an automatic, and then we got the car. I got a car with a stick shift, and it was in between two of my electric cars. And
Mhm,
then you inherited that car,
mhm.
and you didn't like the
Oh, I
stick shift
hated
at
it at
first.
first. I hated it for like the whole first year. I just only come around on me recently.
Uh huh.
But now I like, yeah,
Nice. Okay. And then Pete goes on to say driverless, or do you like the whole? What's your thought on driverless cars?
I like the idea, but I mean, it goes back to the aspect of now I enjoy like driving more. So
Right.
I want to drive my own car, probably. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't. It's not the fact that I don't trust them. I think the technology is probably good enough right now that we could probably roll out
Well, this is something
driverless
that
cars.
Elon Musk gets a lot of crap about because he has the self-driving cars, and then people take it too far. They like read a book or they fall asleep while they're
Oh
driving, and then they
yeah,
crash and they die.
yeah. But that's like it's like an assist, isn't it? Not like
Yeah.
self-driving. It's like self-assist.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I'm sure there's some legal clarification, but yeah, I feel like only for that to work, everybody would have to be in one. You know, for that to
Yeah.
really work.
And then I think if it's like that, then I think all the cars will have sensors and they'll communicate
It'd be
amongst
like a slot
themselves.
car tracks on the freeways.
Exactly. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Weren't they talking about doing that? I remember that being a thing a long time ago. Like they're gonna put magnets or something underneath the roads.
That was part of this when they, the carpool lane down the middle of the 15. That was the rumor that they were going to put in some
Yeah.
technology, and they were going to test like magnets underneath so you could take your hands off and it would self-drive you. But I guess I don't know if that was real or it was a rumor or what the deal was.
I like the idea, but I also don't see the need. I
Hmm.
mean, I guess you could see the need in automobile accidents, but I think it's a part of life now that
Yeah.
everyone should. I'm looking forward to road tripping, like just driving
Yeah.
far now. You've
Good.
instilled that on me.
So let's go back here. A couple more questions. Pat Johnson, Scripps is still down. They won't pay the ransomware cost. Wow. So how much is the ransomware cost, Pat? Do you know? That's something. Yeah. When these companies, they just essentially seize the
That's
computer
crazy.
system.
It's not a is it just a dude? It's just like a
Well,
random hacker guy?
it's supposedly, I don't know about Scripps, but the one with the
Chinese government.
no, what's Russia? It's Russia is the one that's done
Okay.
the pipeline in the eastern part of the United States, but it's supposedly not connected with the Russian government. So supposedly just some rogue hackers have busted in. The cyber warfare.
10 million
Um,
is what he said.
what
He
about
said 10 million.
10 million? Oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay, just
That's
for Scripps.
jeez.
I mean, how in the hell can a hospital function?
How the hell would a hospital let someone cyber hack them?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
That's what that's a job industry.
well,
Cyber
you would think
defense.
that healthcare data would be,
The most valuable thing.
yeah, it'd be most protected because of all the privacy issues.
HIPAA. Or
HIPAA, exactly.
but it's crazy, you know. That just goes to show you though how many people are improving on with computers and just the what's the word, knowledge for computers just constantly growing
Oh, unbelievable.
at a
Yeah,
fake rate where obviously some of the biggest companies can't even keep up with some random dudes in a basement in
exactly.
Russia,
Exactly.
you know?
So, it's just hell. I mean, if you're a company that gets, your data seized like that. Pete Neal says, my wife's hospital stay at Scripps, 2 days, 36 hours, was an adventure of living in the 1970s again, like pre-computer.
Oh, really? Like, so he stayed in there and there were no computers working?
Well, this is the 1970s. I mean, there
Well,
were,
he's saying it felt like the
it
70s, I
felt
thought.
like the
Yeah,
70s. Yeah. So I think everything is like,
the
triple
handwritten.
form,
It's like
handwritten.
when the damn power would go out, Monticello's, and we'd have to do the cards thing where you like
Oh, yeah.
stamp it almost or whatever it is.
That's old school.
Yeah.
That's really old school.
Yeah, I did that.
You did?
Yeah. Monticello's.
Okay. Now, did you enjoy that job?
Yeah. I don't know, enjoy is like the correct word, but I think it was a solid job. Perfect
Yeah.
job for my scenario in high school. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
They
Mama
were
Chella's
they were
and Rancho
flex.
Bernardo.
It was only like nights, so I didn't interfere with school, and they were flexible with my baseball schedule, so it was perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Hmm.
Yeah, good for you. Um, what else? What else have we not covered? Not much.
My life.
Yeah, yeah. Like what? So, what have you been up to? What's been like top of mind for you these days?
Moving out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, you looking
Moving
forward
to
to that?
Oklahoma in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Very much so.
All right. So, tell the audience about what your plan is.
Moving to Norman, Oklahoma in 2 weeks to go to the University of Oklahoma.
It's going to be a Sooner.
Boomer Sooner, yes.
So, you were recently in Oklahoma. Tell me the trip. How is Oklahoma different than California?
Flat.
Okay.
Flat, spread out is how I like to explain it. Everything's spread out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I went during like dormant season, I guess, for the grass, so it was very brown.
Right.
It was very brown. Like 2-lane freeways everywhere.
Right.
Just wasn't a small city. I was in like Oklahoma City and Tulsa, but I got like small city vibes, just being in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely more country, you could just tell. The way the homes are styled.
Right.
Um, a lot more I don't know if wealth's the right term, it seems like.
Really?
Or not more or less, sorry. Not like it seems like I don't know if this is the right wording of it. It just seems like here everything's like so upkept and like perfect.
Like so manicured.
Yeah, to like fit an image.
Like in the
Maybe that's just because we live at Poway.
Yeah.
But there, it just seems like more of rural.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Kind of middle America.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Because it is middle America at its
Yeah.
finest. But no masks. No masks is the big thing.
Yeah.
They didn't give a damn. Buc-ee's. Have you ever been to Buc-ee's?
No, what's Buc-ee's?
They have like I don't know, like 50 gas pumps. It's literally
50.
it's like a Walmart inside. It's insane. It's as big as a Walmart inside too. It's a corner store, I guess, or a gas station. Technically, you pull a picture up on your computer. It's insane. They just built one in Daytona, and when we flew in, and we were driving with Katie Martins, and she was like, "You guys see this?" And it's like 50 pumps, and I had to pee really bad, so we pulled over. I walk in like the sliding utopia of like gas stations, it's like the candies, the souvenirs. They got like not like restaurants, but like fast food
Yeah.
places that are like cranking out like brownies and like sundaes and like,
Really?
this is the greatest thing ever. One of the greatest things. These things exist in Oklahoma. These and QT Quick Trips, QTs.
What's that?
Another gas station that's
Okay.
literally on every corner in Oklahoma, every corner, and it's smaller. It's like a normal sized gas station, but they're on every corner, and they are like gas station food heaven. Like we were just in there like late at
You
night.
associate gas station food and heaven don't go
Well,
together.
not gas station food, but like the gas station munchies.
Yeah, I
like
know
the
what you mean.
candy, like
Yeah.
drinks.
Yeah.
Because we went there and I just got like some like candy, maybe a drink, and then my buddy Zach and his friend walk out. They got like milkshakes. I was like, you got that in there? Like, yeah, they make them. They make like pretzels, soft pretzels, and like all this stuff. They do,
Really?
and the Buc-ee's, they do that tenfold.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
That's middle. That's like Texas. I remember when we were in Dallas, when we were there for Jack's service, and we were at a house in Dallas of one of the New Mexico women's soccer players'
mhm.
family. All the New Mexico guys and girls were there, just hanging out. And she was talking to us, and country accent. Oh, you got to go to the Buc-ee's. Like, you got to go to the Buc-ee's. So we checked it out. We're like, holy,
Now I'm excited. I wanna check this
your
out.
next road trip, you got to stop. You've probably driven by one. Driving to New Mexico, I think,
Really?
probably. I don't think there were any New Mexico, Arizona. It's definitely like a Texas, Oklahoma thing for sure.
Really?
Everything's bigger,
Yeah, that's right.
They got it's insane how many gas pumps they have.
Couple of other comments from Pete Neild. The TVs were operational. All the dedicated instruments were okay, but no computer systems, no cell phones, no Wi-Fi. And then Pat Johnson says, "Great show. It's interesting hearing Trevor's perspective." So all good. Yeah. So I'm actually looking forward to you. You know, looking forward to you. Going to Oklahoma. I think it's great. You can wrap up your bachelor's degree there, but I want to visit you there.
Yeah.
Because Oklahoma is one of the 11 states I have yet to visit. So I can check that one off my list.
Yeah. I mean, Norman's like kind of, probably not your cup of tea, but I mean, there's
Yeah.
some things to do for sure.
Yeah. Well,
It's a
I'm looking
college
forward
town.
to it. So 2 weeks, man, you don't have much time left in Poway.
Yeah, I'm running around. It seems like every day to do things to
Yeah.
get done.
What are you going to miss most about Poway?
Either the people, the weather,
Right.
the kind of, I don't know if it's like solitude. You're out here in Poway.
Well, do you remember when you were little, we used to always say Poway is
The
like
bubble.
a bubble.
Yeah.
Do you
It's a
believe
bubble.
that?
That's what I'm saying. It's like the solitude. Yeah. I totally 100% believe Poway is a bubble, and a lot of people in high school are caught in it.
So describe that to me. What do you mean by
That's what I think a lot of people. This is going back to our earlier discussion about the Black and PUSD page. We're just stuck in this bubble
right?
of this happened here, so it must be true of everything in PUSD. And
Mm-hmm.
the Poway bubble is like people get stuck here. I don't know, stuck here. People don't grow up here and live here, but it's like people think the only things that are going on in Poway, things that happen in Poway, affect your whole life, type thing. I don't know how to explain it. It's just rare you see people. Not rare. It's not rare at all. But some people are caught in the Poway bubble, where they just think oh, these this little bad experience that I had at Poway High School my sophomore year on September 6th with this teacher. This city is awful, and just it's the Poway bubble. It's these minor inconveniences, and they don't see the whole big picture because Poway just is an amazing city that we've been gifted to as kids.
See, that's what when I made the comment to you about that, what I meant is that Poway is like a utopia.
Oh, for growing up. It's ridiculous.
It's generally speaking, relatively
They
safe.
form a Poway bubble. You just think everybody's life is like this growing up, but it's
But
not.
then when you go to other parts of the country, it's like, oh, this is very different than Poway.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we lived. I know this is probably gonna sound wrong saying it to you, like a 70s TV show. Growing up, I was biking to my friend's house and all this, and doing this and that. Lived 2 minutes from my buddies, that we could go out and walk the streets at night, and I could bike from place to place. It doesn't matter. It's just Poway, and
Right.
where all your friends live, and our parents knew each other growing up. All that. It's something you don't get many places else.
No.
Because of the bubble, though. That's
because of the bubble. It's like
so
a
it
bubble.
has its pros and cons.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when you guys were little, you would say, you go visit some other people here in town, and there's a lot of people with a lot of money in Poway.
Oh, yeah.
And then, we'd say, this isn't like other parts of the country. You go to other parts of United States, and
But
it's
Poway, I think, has a unique mix of extreme wealth and then middle class, and maybe even some lower class too. I think a lot of people don't get too.
Well, there is, and I think that's part of the diversity, maybe a little bit of that blend.
The diversity that people don't like to recognize about Poway.
But some people see it as not just diversity, but as division. Because some people
I don't
make
think
a
it
big
divided
deal.
anyone.
North Poway versus
It was a
South
joke.
Poway.
It was a damn joke that we'd always screw with people. But I mean, I'm friends with people from South Poway and North Poway, and coming from all different walks of life.
Yeah.
And you got that here. You didn't get one walk. A lot of other places, it's one walk of life. You know, all the kids that pretty similar kind of statues and values, and but like, especially in like places like Oklahoma, Texas, you know, those neighborhoods are deep and like they're all pretty similar.
Right.
That's what I noticed in Oklahoma too. Like everything's the same, you know, like probably each house is the same price, and then
Yeah.
like, you know, probably the same kind of income in each house,
Hmm.
same kind of values. But here in Poway, I feel like you got it all.
Right. It is. It's a big range.
We got all the religions. We have a Mormon church, Jewish synagogue, all that.
Yeah.
You don't see that elsewhere, man.
No, I mean, I
I
can't
think it's
believe
an
how
insane mix that we have here that people don't recognize necessarily.
well the number of, I'll call it, places of worship in Poway.
It takes a lot. I
Because
notice that every time I
yes,
drive through.
well, yeah, like going down Pomerado Road. You know, some of it's in Rancho Bernardo, but in Pomerado Road and along Twin Peaks
Poway Road. There's
and
that
Poway.
one right where Pomerano and Poway meets, right? There's a church right there. It's
Yeah.
across from the kick. I saw the kickboxing people today.
Oh, you did?
Mhm.
Yeah. Were they out on the on the deck?
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that. They had like the PA going,
Mhm.
music pumping.
But there's a church right across the street from there,
There
right?
is.
Isn't that kind of up that hill? There's like that restaurant, and there's also like a church, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. There might be. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we got the church right off Stone Canyon. I always forget about.
Oh yeah, that's kind of tucked away there.
I always forget that exists.
Yeah. And
Because you know, the one time I didn't forget it exists, I was driving, took a right up Pomerado. I forgot something. You can cut up through that preschool. Take a right at the preschool. It'll drop you right back on Stone Canyon.
It will.
Mhm.
Nice.
It wraps around.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Yeah, so if you turn right in Pomerado, or I don't know, something's really backed up on that part of Stone Canyon, you can take a right and
Mhm.
go down.
But I think you touched on a good point. I think this is something that's special about Poway is because there is a lot of diversity, and people like to say, "Well, it's mostly white people that live in Poway," but
Not all about skin color for diversity.
exactly. So there's a diversity of income, of religion.
Compared to most of the PUSD schools, though, our diversity in skin color was high too, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's factual, but I'm pretty sure, yeah.
it's becoming more diverse.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I had two guests on here, gosh, just a couple years ago, from the interfaith community, and it's this organization that brings all the religions in Poway together, so that people can learn.
Interesting.
So a Baptist can learn about the Jews, and the Jews can learn
That's
about
smart. I know.
yeah, and get them all together, and they discover they have a lot more in common than they are different. It's very powerful.
A lot of parts of the world should take that into account right
well,
now.
especially in Israel and Palestine right now, right?
Yeah.
But when you go to Oklahoma, you're not going to see much of that.
It's only Christianity out there.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a lot different.
It's not really a huge thing in my life, so I
Mhm.
don't think it'll be that affecting on me.
This is great. So, a couple more comments here, and from Pete. I will patiently wait for Trevor's takeaway from a 2-hour visit to the Oklahoma City Memorial. I want to know the feeling that comes over him. You know what he's talking about?
Oh, the bombing memorial?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. I should have seen it, honestly.
So that happened, I think, in the 1990s is when the side of a federal building there was just blown up.
It's sad. Wasn't it some radical religious ideal problem?
No, what it was, if I remember, who was the guy? It's Timothy McVeigh was the guy that did it. And in the mid 90s, you remember David Koresh when we talked about him? Remember in Waco, and he had that compound, and then the federal government.
That's a great show. Have you seen the show, right?
Yeah. It was on Netflix, right? Wasn't it?
Great show.
Yeah, it was very interesting. But the federal government came in and basically firebombed his compound. And there's a lot of controversy about what happened there and everything. Well, anyways, a lot of people were pissed off about that, and so Timothy McVeigh and the group he organized had a truck. They got some kind of fertilizer.
It was a truck, yeah, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he drove the truck with the fertilizer bomb into the building, and it's like, I don't know, like a 10 or 15-story building, and it blew the face of the whole building off.
My goodness.
It was awful.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so there's a memorial there, so that'd be worth checking out.
Absolutely.
And when I come and visit you, I want to see that as well. Pete, you probably have been there, Pete, because you probably drove through that area on your cross-country trip. Pat Johnson said the north-south Poway thing is just us old gray-haired people.
No, it's super alive.
But there's
It's super alive in the young Poway community, I'd say. It's just jokes.
but for you, it's a joke. But for some people, it's very political because they think the North Poway gets all these special privileges, and they're building all this construction on
Oh,
South
okay,
Poway.
I see, okay, yeah.
Yeah, the why in the hell aren't they putting these three-story condominiums off of Stone Canyon Road or off of, or putting them into,
Blue Sky.
the Stone Ridge, and
That's
building
true.
there.
They are though, aren't they?
Well, they're going to build houses, but it's all one story, so they're not building these
It's
multi-unit.
Poway Road.
Yeah.
I don't know, but, it's just a joke,
So
and
for you guys, it's a joke, but for some other people, I'm saying it's a
it's
real
just like
serious thing.
well, it's just, like, funny, you're "Oh, come hang out at my house." Like, "Oh, you're a South Poway kid, I gotta drive, like, 20 minutes, jeez." Yeah, it's whatever,
Well, we used to be South Poway.
Yeah, I know, that's why it's funny for me, because I was just at Tyler Chun's house yesterday. I don't know if you know, they lived in Garden Road. I
They
just
do.
drove through Garden Road yesterday,
Right
yeah.
on. Yeah, I mean,
And there's some guys, like, whipping around some little guys ripping around on pit bikes. I was like, "That was me," like, Grant Bass, so,
You really?
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah, so, it was good times.
I missed that area a little.
Yeah, I do a lot.
Would've been cool growing up there too, probably.
I agree. But it'd be different,
Different. The block parties.
the block parties were fun. You got to know your neighbors more.
Exactly, that's what we don't hear.
Yeah, our neighbors are like they live in a, you know,
Foreign land, yeah.
it's all yeah, it's like it's very different here. But there's benefits to it as well.
Yeah.
So,
So my friends live in 2 doors down. It's like a 10-minute bike ride.
so you excited about your computer?
Very, extremely.
All right.
It's great.
So tell the audience what you did and what you learned.
I learned a lot. So I have a gaming desktop computer, and I was upgrading the core processing unit, the CPU. I was taking basically a second generation, putting in a third generation processor because I have a third generation graphics card.
Right.
Well, how much do you want me to explain about
Well,
this?
no, but just give me the overview. You
The
don't need to
overview, basically put it in, and since it's not gonna like be your normal laptop core processor or anything, that these run hot because you're playing video games with high graphics. So you install a coolant fan, which goes smack against it. This whole technology with copper, yada
Mhm.
yada yada. So basically, I took my old cooler off, my old CPU off, put in the new CPU, which is a $300 2-inch by 2-inch square.
Right.
It's just crazy to me. When I held that in my hand, I was like,
Mhm.
wow, they're heavy too. And put that in, literally just to latch it in. Then you put the thermal paste on it. Yada. We tried to put in the fan they gave us. It didn't work. We needed a special bracket for the motherboard of the computer. So we tried installing my friend's fan, which technically wasn't for my CPU. It didn't work because the bracket on the back, or the bracket on the front, was pushing it too high, so there was no contact between the fan and the CPU. So then I waved my white flag when I was in over my head now because I didn't know what to do. Brought it into my computer repair today. Took my old coolant that I thought wasn't working that well, cleaned it out, installed it back in, and it works, and it's great.
It's good.
It's fantastic. It's like games I couldn't even run that were probably like, imagine if this was all just like hitchy, pixely, graphic-y,
Yeah.
you can't play a game like
Mhm.
that were running less than 30 FPS that I've only had time to just like try one game. I was running at 140. Like it's just awesome.
Right on.
Yeah, awesome.
So, for me, it's easy as a parent if I wanted to give you crap about spending time playing video games, but I waste enough time doing other things on computers. I really like the fact that you tore the computer apart
Yeah, that was crazy.
and it's just like working on a car, right?
Exactly.
A
Yeah.
lot of people, when
That's
they're
what
young, they take an engine apart and they put it back together and you learn a ton.
that's exactly what happened. I took my computer apart probably for real the first time yesterday.
Right.
Scary.
It is. Yeah.
You put a lot of money into it. You don't want to break it.
Yeah. So that's great that you learned a lot. It
Mhm.
was frustrating as hell, right?
Oh yeah, when it didn't work, I mean, because we had to get a replacement fan and we had to change brackets, and we finally got it installed. And then you start the computer, it starts for 5 minutes. I load one thing and poof, it turns off. Like, oh my god. what's wrong, you know? It's not like it's gonna tell you. It's
That's
not like it's
good.
got a voice.
Pete Neal says, I was shocked at my reaction to the memorial. As you walk it around the reflecting pool and then the chairs, the impact of the environment and motivation is surprising. So the chairs, were those one chair for every person that was killed, or was it one chair for every child that was in there was a daycare they blew up? That was part of it.
I
Um,
think I remember hearing about that.
yeah. So and that's in Oklahoma
When was
City.
that?
It was like in the mid to late 90s when that happened. I can't remember the exact year, but Waco, I think, happened
So that was
93,
because of
94.
Waco, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
The guy that did it was angry at what happened at
But he
Waco.
wasn't at Waco, though.
No,
Mhm.
because he was like, we have freedom of a religion in this country, and these people should have been able
True.
to practice their religion. And he was upset at the government. And so then he took out his rage on a government building in Oklahoma City. But I can't remember what department that building was. I think it might have just been any random government building. But I mean, God, how many people lost their lives?
Yeah, innocent. That had nothing to do with that.
Nothing at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get a good chance to check that out. Maybe you can go to a Thunder game.
That'd be cool. Yeah. I mean, they stink now too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's left playing for them?
Nobody.
Yeah.
They took away Chris Paul. Chris Paul was the last one left, and they took
And
away
he's
Chris
with
Paul.
Phoenix now.
Yeah,
right?
they got the 1 seed. Do you see that?
One?
Devin Booker, he's a baller.
Phoenix has been so bad for so long.
Yeah, they just needed one more guy for Booker, and they got him. And they have Ayton. They have DeAndre Ayton.
Oh yeah,
too.
yeah. He played at U of A.
Mhm.
He's good. Wow.
You know who did really well at the Magic game was Mo Bamba.
Mo Bamba. Right on.
Do you know the song Mo Bamba?
No.
It's a huge, popular song, like a really gigantically popular song for people my age at like a party.
Right on.
You know,
No, I don't know Mo Bamba.
Yeah.
But this is the song about the basketball player?
he like mentions his name, like I be balling. Like it doesn't really mention him, but that's
Right.
it's like they're the guy, the rapper that made it, and Mo were from like the same place. So.
Oh, okay. So
they know each other.
So they're shouting out to the
Yeah.
other guy. Okay.
It was like right after he got drafted,
Right
or
on.
right before he got
Where did he
drafted.
go to college?
Texas.
Texas. I remember that name when he was playing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, now it's horns down.
Yeah. Now you're going to be a Sooner fan.
I have to hate Texas now. Like I didn't already.
So what's going to happen when like Oklahoma plays San Diego State? You're a boomer Sooner now.
When Oklahoma plays San Diego State,
Well, they played each other in the NCAA
for
tournament
basketball,
in
yeah.
basketball.
I mean, I'm gonna root for Oklahoma. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. That's your team,
They're looking pretty. They hired a new coach. I know that, the basketball team.
right? And then you were telling me about the football coaches are like gods.
Oh, they're gods. Yeah, they live in a palace right across the road from the football stadium. Literally, they live in this mansion, like right across the street from like surrounded by college housing. Just this, it just stands out like a sore, not like a sore thumb. It's obviously beautiful, but it just stands out. It's just boom. That's Lincoln Riley's house.
Because usually it's like the chancellor or the
Yeah,
president of the
exactly.
university.
They have one too, though. That's insane.
So it's the president and then
the football coach.
and the football
The
coach.
football coach is up here, though. The president's down here. In
Really?
the rank for sure.
Okay. Well, his name's Lincoln Riley. Maybe you
Yeah.
can get tickets. Or you get some special privilege. No relation, but
I'm sure there's not another Riley there at that school or anything.
If we trace the family history back, maybe we can find some linkage somewhere. Maybe. All right. So 2 weeks, man.
Yeah, coming up quick.
It is.
I got to start packing.
Well, yeah, getting organized or going through some of your stuff.
Oh, already did it once.
Pete Neal says, a gaming PC is the best thing for high-tech work. Anything data or graphically intensive, which brings up the question, what is Trevor's major?
Business.
Business
Undecided on a focus. That could be in information systems or like supply chain or marketing. I haven't decided yet.
Right. Good.
But no, yeah, definitely a gaming PC. When you look up the whole CPU thing, there's like 3 things they define it by, I think. And it's just like gaming performance, like overall speed, and then workstation like performance for like working. Like if you're gonna use it for like graphic design stuff, like you need like a really good, or if like heavy video editing, stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you're learning a lot about this. This is good. I mean, I know you went through hell.
Yeah, it sucks, but I mean, you have to.
But you learn. I mean, again, it's just like taking apart your car. So Pete, I think Trevor's probably has the computer equivalent
I
of a
did.
Corvette.
I used to be a computer science major too.
Uh-huh.
That's a lot of work.
It is.
I was doing it while playing baseball though.
D1
D
baseball.
Division I baseball, yeah. Once I went to my engineering calculus teacher and handed him my baseball schedule and said, "Here are the dates I'm gonna miss," and he said, "You're responsible for everything you miss." I was like, "All right, I can't do it." You know,
Yeah,
like
well, you can't.
I'm literally about to miss like 10 days, 12 days this semester, bro. Like some of them might be tests. Like who the hell knows? Like
Yeah.
probably more than that. I probably miss more than that. I don't know. It
Well, I mean, how
depends.
many Division I athletes are computer science majors?
None. I
You
mean, not none, but
very
there's
few.
nobody at New Mexico. I was the only out of the 40-man roster, there's only 2 of us in engineering, and then I quit. So there's only 1.
Because it's just, I mean, it's
It's
just
possible.
logistically impossible.
Possible. Unless you wanna be there for 6, but the thing is, like, unless you wanna be there, but you have to stay eligible, so you have to take a certain amount of classes. So,
Oh, so brutal.
you have to take the hard classes, yeah.
And you can't drop any classes.
Mm-mm.
You gotta just, you
That's
gotta,
what was my problem with calculus, like, I was like, "Look, I can't take this class." They're like, "Well, you need to take this class, and you need to take it now to stay eligible, and you also need to take this class next semester."
right.
Yeah, so
So yeah, if you didn't
it's
take
like
it,
once you're in the engineering train, like, you're locked in.
yeah,
So you see you get out early, you're all in.
crazy. Yeah. So I mean, I'm just happy that you have choices ahead of you. If it's computer science, if it's engineering, if it's business, with an IT focus, supply chain focus, marketing focus, and you're going to figure it out when you get out there. You're going to meet new people, you're going to learn new things, and you're going to try things and decide you like it or not like it. You know,
Yeah.
it's all good. We're going to miss you, man.
I'll miss you guys.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
guys will finally be empty nesters again.
Yeah, we'll be empty nesters again. Okay, you want to wrap this bad boy up?
It's up to you.
I think so.
We can keep talking,
Well,
of course.
I mean, I'm trying to go through my list of everything we've talked about. There's a couple other things I think I'll bring up. We talked about Biden and Trump. We talked about COVID, gas, social media. Talk about Matt Gaetz. You weren't really paying attention. Have you been following the Liz Cheney thing? No.
Who's that?
That's like a battle within the Republican Party for leadership. And
Oh yeah, I followed Amash
yeah,
on Twitter after I listened to his. It's a good podcast. It's Yang and Amash.
Amash was my favorite guy when he ran, and he didn't run in 2020. He dropped out, but he
Yang and Amash.
Yeah,
had a podcast together. But I saw him tweet about how they voted a new leader for their party or something like that, and it was not a good, according to him, not a good, effectless. Effectless, I think is the word.
Well, they got rid of Cheney, Liz Cheney. She was a daughter of the former vice president. That was the vice president under Bush, but she was critical of Trump.
Yeah, didn't she vote to like impeach him?
Yeah,
and she was the leader of the Republican Party.
Well, the Republic, I think one of the leaders in the House of Representatives, but they're in the minority, right? Because the Democrats
were they in the minority when Trump was there?
I think for part of the time, yes, and part of the time, no. So in the 4 years, because
all I know is McConnell's name, Mitch McConnell, right?
Right. He's the Senate majority leader, and he's a Republican. So Republicans, well, it's 50-50 in the Senate, right? But anyways, this Liz Cheney, she was outspoken against Trump. She was outspoken against the big lie. You know what the big lie is? That the election was fraudulent.
Oh, I've never heard it called that.
Yeah, and that the Republicans claiming that Biden really didn't win, Trump really won, but there was fraud in the way the votes were collected.
Oh yeah, and then there was like the whole deal of like, are you going to support that story as a Republican?
Yeah. And so Cheney was,
you just can't.
was calling that out, and so the Republicans said we got to get rid of her, and so they got rid of her.
She didn't call the election fraud,
right?
Oh man,
and she wouldn't bend a knee to Trump.
Get the hell out. It's crazy. I've not heard a word from Trump since he's been off Twitter. I have never seen a video of him saying anything recently.
You'll see little bits and pieces.
I haven't.
Yeah,
I haven't.
But it's not on Twitter.
Yeah, I guess that's where I normally used to seeing him. That's a lot. Like people got to understand that like a lot of the political ideals for a lot of kids my age are based on what a lot of these politicians post on social media.
Oh God, yeah.
Then like, you shouldn't care about their social media. Like, look at what they've done. But like a lot of kids, or not kids, young adults that's what they care about a lot is what are they doing on social media? What are they promoting? Who are they supporting?
Yeah.
I saw a thing like some people freaking out about Rihanna was supporting Israel, and I saw all these girls. Oh my God, how could she? Like people picking sides.
Yeah, because everything's politicized,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a problem. Like when I was growing up, I mean, there was politics existed, but nothing like now.
That's
Now
what everyone's saying.
everyone sees things through a political lens.
Everything.
And the crazy part is that if you are not lined up with the blue team or the red team, you're like moderate, independent, then they don't know how to handle you, right? If you kind of agree a little bit with
Yeah,
one
it's like
side, a
I
little bit,
feel like I'm wrong, you know? I feel like I'm doing people wrong by agreeing with this, agreeing with that. It's like
yeah. But you know, you should
just
just you do you, man. You know, believe in what you believe. But a lot of people instead it's tribal, right?
yeah, I mean, I'm technically a registered Democratic voter, but I don't associate with I can form my own damn opinion. I don't associate with the whole party.
Right, exactly.
You know, I don't know. I don't know, this might sound bad. I became a, I became a Democratic voter because I thought their options were just better.
Right.
Not even like their political ideals or what I aligned with. I just like what they brought to the table compared to what the Republicans brought
Right.
to the table. Just the people.
Who was your favorite candidate when we were in the primary season?
Yang.
Yang. Why did you like Andrew Yang?
He was personable. He was an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like he actually understood the basic man. I don't know if that's the best way to explain it. But he was like felt like he was more in like touch with the world, you know? Like he enjoyed sports and he had like what I know you enjoy. He had this is it. This is my plan. And like he had everything listed out. Like
Yeah.
you can see any opinion of his on any topic and he's not afraid to tell you why. This is like obviously I don't agree with everything he supports and you're never going to be able to. But now he's running for New York mayor. You see that?
Yeah.
He looks like he's going to win too.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's great. But I just like this is like, why don't you love Trump? But I like the whole entrepreneur. I hate lifetime politicians.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason Trump got elected.
Yeah.
Is because he wasn't a lifetime politician. But yeah, I agree. I like Yang out of all those options on the Democratic field. He was one of my favorites. But I loved, like to your point, he laid it all out. He goes, "This is my belief on everything." He even took a stand like on WWE, on wrestling.
Yeah, and it's just
I mean,
he was just more down to earth. He knew like I think the best way, like more politicians would be like, this is how I know I'm gonna do it. It's probably not gonna work.
Yeah.
But we're gonna figure out how to work with this.
Right. That's the model.
Yeah.
Right.
Like not everything's gonna work the way you want it to work.
So the Yang Amash podcast, is that Yang's podcast? And Amash was the guest. What did you like about Amash?
It was like someone on the inside, you know, that had the moderate view, that was not afraid to call out each side. You know, like the Republicans are doing this, but the Democrats are also doing it too. And like it's all BS, you know, like seeing it from the whole he always like constitution view to it.
Yeah.
Like I'm the middle party and like these people are messing up, these people are also messing up.
Right.
Which is the truth.
It is. I mean, that's why I thought Amash was just a breath of fresh air. I mean, I really liked him as a candidate. But he ended up not running. I'm hopeful he's going to run.
Yeah,
in
I saw he didn't run.
But he remember he was a Republican, and then on July 1st of 2019, he declared his independence from the Republican Party, and he became an independent.
He was like the only one, right?
There might have been a couple of others. I think Bernie Sanders is independent, although he's in the Senate. But he's kind of aligned with the Democrats. But Amash was independent, and then right around 2020, he flipped and he joined the Libertarian Party because that's really where he belonged the whole time, you know, politically.
But like that hinders you, doesn't it? Being part of that party.
Well, yeah, if you're a third party, I mean, the system's rigged against you.
But you can win like a House seat in like a third party, right? Like or a Senate seat. No,
you can, but it's hard. I don't think it's ever been done. I mean,
but
Bernie,
independent can.
But if you have the name of someone like Bernie Sanders, you can. But the system is rigged for Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah, that's my least favorite part about all politics is the two-party system.
Yeah, I mean, because like, you know, when you have the presidential debates in October, there's only two people on the stage, right?
They're all a clown show, those debates.
I love watching them. It's just like theater, you know, and it's entertainment for me.
Ridiculous.
But it is crazy.
I just think it's ridiculous to form your opinion about a president off like a stage interview.
But a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Have
With
you
formatted questions with formatted responses?
Yeah, and rehearsed one-line zingers.
Yeah. Uh-huh. It's all. Yeah, you're right. It's theater.
It's theater. Now, are you following the California governor race?
No.
No? Okay, so there's the recall of Gavin Newsom.
Mm-hmm. I think they should. I support that. I think Newsom's been.
What do you not like about Newsom?
He's been strict as hell for no reason. It seems like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
He's been like strict just because we're California and we can be, and we're gonna be the liberal state. And it's just like we've just been so. It's just like every other state like looks at us as like the benchmark for strict restrictions.
Yes.
Like here's California numbers compared to Texas that opened up. We're always the strict benchmark restriction, and he just was never clear with what he was saying. I know like CIF was bugging him to make a decision, and he just kept pushing it off. The sports, like, who gives a shit? I'm not gonna talk about it. We're locked down. We're locked down. We're locked down. And it seems like all he wanted to do. And he got caught going to his own damn restaurant.
Yeah.
And apparently his winery stayed open like the whole time.
Right. It's true.
And I don't know. I think he just got put into a spotlight of what all politicians do, but he got put into a spotlight because all the COVID thing.
Yeah, and I think
he's out of touch with reality.
I agree. But he comes from a political family. He's I think like a cousin or a nephew of Nancy Pelosi.
Really? I think I saw something like that.
Yeah, they're related.
Awful.
So you're a Democrat, but you are supportive of removing Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
Okay. But do you know who's running against him? You know how it's lining up?
No, isn't it like another kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Well, it's Caitlyn. It's Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah, that's it.
Right. That's one of them.
That's the for real candidate.
Yeah, Caitlyn Jenner. So, and she's getting all the attention because it's Caitlyn Jenner.
I don't think she'll win. But who the hell knows at this point?
Then the other one is Kevin Faulconer, who's the former mayor of San Diego.
We liked him, right? I don't know.
Well, he was like a moderate Republican.
I don't know anything about damn politicians before COVID. I didn't form opinions on my mayor before COVID.
He was. I mean, he had his ups and downs, Faulconer, but he's not like a hardcore Trumper. He's kind of more of a moderate Republican.
He was the one that was pushing for San Diego to be reopened at the beginning, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. And then the other one that's running is John Cox.
I've heard that name too.
Because he ran previously, and he's from, I think, Rancho Santa Fe. But get this, he's making tours. He has an actual grizzly bear or black bear, just like a big ass bear that follows him. And so when he is giving his speech in front of his bus with all of his logo,
the California bear, right?
There is a freaking bear right behind it, and the bear is in his commercials.
He's just chilling.
So it's kind of like, you say the debates are like a clown show, but some people are saying it's like a circus. And now here's this guy bringing a freaking bear.
For real circus.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, who's the favorite? Do you know, or is it not?
Well, the question is first is
we're going to recall.
Is there will be a recall election because they got enough signatures.
Really?
Yeah.
So I didn't know that.
So then the question then becomes, will he be recalled? And then after that is, who would they replace him with? But then they're going to be an election anyways in 2022. The regular cycle for the governor anyways.
Is the governor 8 years?
I think it's 6.
6.
So they're going to have this recall in 2021. And then if Newsom survives, which I predict he will, because this is a Democratic state, then in 2022, he'll be up for re-election anyways. But, he's a potential presidential candidate.
Who, Newsom?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yes. He's been grooming himself for this. He's been grooming himself. I think that's part of the reason why he was so strict.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't waver. He couldn't be wishy-washy. He had to hold the line.
Interesting. That makes interesting. Yeah. Wow. That makes me hate him even more.
He's got great hair.
It's a lifetime politician. They only care about getting reelected.
He's definitely a lifetime politician.
It's like what the stat is that like Congress people spend 75% of their time campaigning or whatever it is.
Well, yeah,
and fundraising.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a couple more things on my list we can explore. Are you aware of the whole worker shortage?
Yeah.
You've been following that?
I'm not closely. I've seen just like the pictures of like the Wendy's, that are like closed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Isn't it just about the minimum wage thing?
Well, that's it's kind of associated with this, but businesses are having a hard time finding workers.
Yeah, because isn't it like a lot of it's like a lot of people are still on unemployment and
That's part of it. Yeah.
yeah, and the minimum wage is not enough and
Right. But a lot of people are making more money staying home than what minimum wage would pay them.
yeah, with the unemployment, right?
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. The unemployment, there's regular unemployment and then there's extra COVID unemployment, like $300 a week on top of it. So these people are, it's interesting. And then there's other
You
cases
should
where,
take that away.
I think it's going to start winding down.
Yeah,
But there's other people that have been working in like, minimum wage jobs
with bad conditions.
in bad conditions. And this whole COVID thing, they finally said, they reassess their life and
Mhm.
say, what the hell am I doing? And then meanwhile, like Amazon's hiring people and they're working in warehouses or they're going into the computer industry, they're learning new things, new
Yeah,
skills, and they're no longer, like a frontline worker at Carl's Jr.,
yeah.
right? So, I mean, is anyone that you're hanging out with, is this a dynamic that, because you guys, if you wanted to get a job, you get hired like that.
Yeah, that's why it's not really a dynamic for
Yeah,
us. But, I don't know, I guess it kinda makes sense, but I think it's just gonna come back around.
it will.
Yeah.
I wonder if you went by Monticello's, if there would be a help wanted sign. I
I
bet you,
wouldn't doubt it, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
last night we went,
Or they probably won't be, they're probably struggling a little bit, probably as
they
a
probably a
company.
little, they have a lot of family to fill in.
Yeah, true. They got a lot of family to fill in.
Last night, we got food at Ginza Sushi
Mhm.
right across from there, and there's a help wanted sign there.
A good job.
And they had a new worker there that they were training while I was there.
Yeah, there's a help wanted at the driving range. Yeah, I
There
remember
is.
that, yeah.
When I was in high school, one of my high school friends, actually, I was in college at the time, but my high school friend got a job at a driving range,
That's
and
cool.
he drove
The little cart,
the
yeah.
cart
That's what Tyler does.
and with the trailer that picks up the
Yeah.
balls, and he would be in a cage and
Yeah,
he
just
would wear a
getting
helmet.
yeah, just getting dotted. Just ding, yeah.
Yeah, because they're aiming for
Oh,
him.
yeah, I aim at them every time. I think it's just funnier now knowing, like, Tyler Chun's one of the people that drives it too.
What golf course does he work at?
He works at the nice one, the Rancho Bernardo, like, country club one.
Really?
One it's not the one on going towards Carmel, it's the one off Pomerado near the 15.
So that's Rancho Bernardo Country Club, as
Yeah.
opposed to Bernardo Heights.
Yeah, it's Rancho Bernardo Country.
Yeah.
RBCC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Tell me about your golf game.
I won't say the words that I figured it out because I'll never figure it out. It's gone a lot better. It's gone a lot better. Extreme. The improvement. I'm the COVID golfer at its finest. Started golfing last March.
Right.
Like, seriously.
So you've been golfing a little over a year.
Yeah. I shot my best score in 83 last week.
At what course?
Mission Trails.
An 83.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Good for you.
It's a 71, not a 72, but still.
Still, I mean,
Yeah.
that's less than bogey golf.
I played +2 in the back nine.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy. I was just in a different, but I'm starting to come around. It feels like I only losing like 2 balls a session now instead of 10.
Uh-huh.
But it's now instead of controlling the ball straight, it's more of controlling distances and almost shot shaping. It would take and then putting, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
but chipping. I think my weakest is 50 yards and in for sure. The small chips and the putts, I could chop my game down probably by another 5 strokes. I bet if I can get better at those, but it's tedious stuff to work on.
But yeah, but your first shot off the tee, maybe your
better.
second shot on a par 4, you feel good about those?
Yeah, I feel good about my driver wedge game, stuff like that. My wedge game, my last time out was really, really good. Really good.
Nice.
I'm getting a lot more height on my irons, which is good.
What's your favorite course that you've golfed at?
Mount Woodson for sure. I love Mount Woodson.
Right on. What do you like about it?
I think the course layout is super cool. And everything's tilted, slanted. It's fun. It's not super fun for an amateur golfer. I still enjoy it, but I think it's well kept, really well kept too. Between holes 2 and 3, I think it's like a wooden almost roller coaster ride on the golf cart, getting from hole to hole. It's literally just up in the canyons back in Ramona.
Nice.
Super nice.
Good.
Pretty cheap too, relatively.
How much?
$40.
40?
Yeah, that's cheap.
For golf.
I paid 42 for damn Mission Trails last time, and it's not that nice. Of course, it's down by state. It's
right.
the college kid course almost.
You know, have you golfed at the course in Mission Valley?
What's it called? Riverwalk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna build on that, I think.
Really? That's sad.
Yeah.
That's a nice course. Their zinger is only 35 for the tee time, but it's 20 for the cart.
Ah.
Yeah. So
Do you always get a cart?
yeah, I'm not good enough to walk.
Yeah.
If I was walking, I get so frustrated. You know, you just like, damn, I gotta walk all the way over there.
Right,
to
right,
go pick up my ball and put it back in the fairway.
right.
And you slice another one. You gotta walk.
Do you remember when we first went golfing at that little itty bitty course in University City?
Yeah.
How old were you then?
Young. We just finished watching the Masters. I remember, and I wanted to golf.
Yeah. So this course was in a kind of like a retirement
Yeah.
community, and it was 8 or 9 holes, little itty bitty par threes, kind of near the intersection of the 805 and the 52 freeway. And I don't think that golf course exists anymore. That was a perfect. That's where I learned to golf.
Par
Uh,
threes are good.
yeah. What's your second favorite course?
Admiral Baker.
That's okay. Yeah, that's kind of down by the old stadium, right?
It's right next to Qualcomm. It's like on the Army Reserve Center.
Yeah.
It's like a Navy base or
Do
something.
can you get on there on your own, or do you need to be invited?
It's just a reserve center.
Okay.
It's nice though. I don't think I could become a member. I don't know. It's open to the public though, for sure.
When I was
That's
younger,
expensive though.
how much?
Like 80. But I don't
Really?
pay them. Whenever I go, I get the deals. Like they call them hot deals. It literally like will pop up like 10 the night before on the app that you book it on. Like $20. I would text someone like, dude, you gotta go.
When I was in my 20s, I was working for a company here in San Diego, and one of my coworkers was a veteran, and he invited me to go golf on the Miramar Air Station course.
That one looks interesting. It looks pretty flat.
Very flat.
Yeah, and like par threes, huh?
But the craziest thing I remember from that course was they had a vending machine with beer.
Really? That's cool.
You know, so you could put in like 3 quarters, and then you got like
quarters for a beer
or whatever it was back then. This is like in probably the late 80s, like 88, 89. It was around then, maybe 1990. Yeah. So I'm really happy I'm happy you've gotten into golf. I think it's awesome. Obviously you're taking your clubs with you when you go to Oklahoma.
For sure.
Right.
My roommate is like a +3 golfer. He's probably gonna be scratched by the time I show up.
Really? I didn't know he was that good.
Crazy. He just bought all new set. He's going all in on it.
Oh wow.
So hopefully I get good too.
Well, that's good. Actually, it'll be someone to kind of push you.
Oh, exactly. He's really, and someone to teach me too.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be good. Let's see. Got another comment here from Pete Neild. Trevor, based on the discussions and topics of the podcast, do you think in 5 years you will consider COVID a major impact on your life, or will it fall into the category of a minor impact?
I hope it falls into the category of minor. Right now, it feels major.
Yeah.
It's changed everything I knew.
Right.
But I think it'll always be major. I don't think it will ever be something like this ever again in my lifetime.
No, I agree.
Hopefully I look back on it and I'm glad it happened and it sent me in the right direction. But it's definitely a major impact, I'd say. And I think it'll be a major impact in history.
Oh yeah.
People look back on this and hopefully learn from it. But I think it's major, man.
Well, it is. I mean, you've been robbed of some of your young years, a college experience. It's completely blown up your baseball situation.
Oh yeah.
It's had a big effect on your social life, right? And on your academic life. It's gigantic.
Yeah.
I would think.
It's probably going to affect the work field.
Oh yeah.
Trying to find a job in a couple of years.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a big deal. So, Pete, thanks for that question. Wow. So we've been kind of covering a lot of other stuff. We also travel, and we talked a little bit about going to Europe. Again, I hope you could figure out a way to do at least what Shannon did.
Study abroad, yeah, that would be the dream.
Yeah,
honestly.
if you could pull that off.
Shannon was saying I should do. I think it's Prague. I think she was saying the Czech Republic one, right? Prague. She said it was like central.
Well, Pete, on the live stream, his son lives in Prague.
Really?
Yeah, and apparently, the communists are getting more active in Prague, right? Because it used to be part of the Soviet bloc at one point. But I think a lot of it's because of what's going on with COVID and the restrictions, and there's disruption. But when
They're probably already really socialist as like a whole, like Europe, right?
well, generally, so
Mhm.
not standard definition socialist,
Socialist, but
but
compared to
compared
America.
to America for sure. Prague, when Shannon was out in Europe, I visited her and was there for a couple of weeks, and we spent a few days in Prague. It was a gorgeous city, absolutely beautiful. And yeah, it is kind of central in Europe. You're right next to Germany and Austria, and even like Amsterdam. I don't think is that far away.
But in Europe, I definitely want to see like more of the nature and the scenes and the history. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But of course, I want to see the history. But it's the damn Microsoft Bing home screens that pop up every day. I'm like, wow, it's like I think yesterday it was like the tulip fields in Amsterdam. I'm like, this is crazy, And then it's like the French Alps. I'm like, I
Yeah.
gotta go like here. It'll be like in a desolate place, like in this like random with the Northern Lights. Like I want to see the Northern Lights and
Right.
stuff like that.
Right.
Antarctica.
Well, you could go see them when you're in Scandinavia.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know how far north you got to
But
go,
I'd
but
do it. Yeah, that's
you
a
could.
once in a lifetime for sure.
Well, they're the northern lights, so you can't see them in Antarctica, right?
I guess, huh?
So you got to go to the north. So I've been talking about wanting to go to Europe, and excuse me, to Ireland specifically,
Want to go to Ireland
and
for
visit
sure.
my family history. So I'm trying to get organized for that.
I heard the Guinness place. You go to it's like the whole tour, and at the top they give you like a glass of beer, and you can see like all
Oh,
not Ireland, but
yeah,
Dublin or whatever it is.
yeah,
It's cool.
it's good. So I didn't go to Europe until I was in my early 50s.
Yeah.
So,
You guys have all been.
but I've been. So I want you to go. You were
I
you were still in high school, I think, when I was there with Shannon. But I'm hopeful that you're going to get a chance to go. And who knows where your career takes you? You might be able to. It might be able to combine it with work. Who knows?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, that'll be good. So any more comments here? Yeah. So yeah, this is good. On our live stream, we still got a number of people here. They're very interested in what you have to say. So we need to come up with some more conversation here for you. You enjoying the podcast?
Yeah.
What do you think of the studio?
It's nice. I mean, I've honestly haven't seen it like live like this though.
Right.
Honestly.
So you've been on other podcasts.
I have.
So tell me about that.
My buddy Garrett and Aota Media, Aota Sports podcast that he does. But it's Aota is the name of the company, and then the podcast is Dorm Room Sports.
Okay.
So it's me, Garrett's little brother Grant, and then Craig too sometimes. But Garrett and Grant do a great job. They do all sports too on their own separate podcast, football and just events and current events and all that. And then I help them out with the Padres, the San Diego one specific podcast that they do. And they have a Padres pod, I guess you'd call it. He has a specific name for it. It's pretty clever. I can't remember.
So how often does he do episodes?
We've tried to do one once a week, but we've been lacking lately.
Uh-huh.
A lot going on.
Right.
But
so are you on as a guest
I'm
frequently?
I'm part of the podcast for the
You are?
San Diego section, yeah.
Okay, good.
But they have their own a huge one that they do all sports. And during football season, Garrett's got all his football picks, bets, everything too. And that's really well done though too.
Good. Garrett did some of his initial experiments with podcasts here.
Yeah.
In the studio.
You inspired him.
Yeah. So he learned a little bit.
Yeah.
I taught him just a little. But I know he ended up doing something for a class project.
Yeah.
Using some of this. He interviewed himself. He would sat on one end of the table, ask questions, and then he sat on the other end of the table and answered, and he edited it to make it feel like
very good at that.
Yeah.
He does all his own editing.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a future in that. Did you enjoy being a guest on his podcast?
Yeah.
Good.
Similar to this.
Yeah, just kind of hanging out.
Doesn't have the lighting set up though, but he's got the mics.
But he's all audio only, right?
No, he does video.
He does video too. Yeah.
He got a little camera.
Okay. So the lighting makes a big difference.
It does.
It makes the quality of the video a lot better.
We just sit outside in the San Diego State backyard, or if it's cold, we'll be inside.
Yeah. Nice. So when's their next episode coming up?
We've been talking. We were talking about recording one yesterday, and I did all my computer stuff.
Yeah.
Then one today, and then
so maybe this weekend.
Yeah, probably after the series.
Okay. Good deal. All right, man.
And we had Leland who goes on that one too.
Oh, really?
We've had David on there a couple times.
Okay, good. He's something, isn't he?
It's great.
Yeah. So, David Leland's been a guest on this podcast. We talk all about local San Diego sports. That dude is a savant. I mean, he knows his stuff, and he's got hot takes too. He's not just data. I mean, he's got opinions, so it's something. It's great. I think I'm really happy for him. And so now he has his own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's gotten into the audio only podcast part of it yet. So eventually,
I just see his social media pages for San Diego sports.
Yeah.
Very thorough and well done.
Yeah, he does a good job. Pete Neild on the live stream says, my best view of the Northern Lights was from a 30,000 feet on a flight over Greenland.
That's sweet.
Greenland, really?
Pete, that's the one that's icy.
Yeah.
Greenland's icy and Iceland's green.
Exactly. I think they did that on purpose to throw people off, to protect Iceland, so less people went there. I think that's the story that I heard. Pete, I thought you were about to tell me that you were up at the North Pole and you guys surfaced on the submarine and you opened up the hatch and you looked outside and you saw the Northern Lights.
Has he been on submarines?
Oh yeah, he big time. I mean,
that's scary. I couldn't do that.
Like 15, 20 years of his life underwater.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah. So Pete will tell you stories about submarining. Pete's been all over the world, partially being in the Navy. But I'm sure maybe flying over Greenland, that's probably the direction you go when you go visit your son in Prague.
Probably.
When you're flying over.
They're kind of right next to each other right there, huh?
Well, it's weird. It's like you look at a map and you figure if you're flying across the Atlantic, you just take a straight line from, New York to Paris or something. But you go, since it's a sphere, right? You kind of go over over the top of the world to get to Europe. It's faster than going a straight line, along what's the right word? Along a latitude line.
You're telling this is gonna change my word. You're telling me if you took off from New York to Paris,
you'd
go north.
Yes, not straight north, but you would. I don't have like a ball here here.
You just have a globe.
So do I? I need a globe. But like if you're at this star and you want to go here, you don't go around the world. You go over the top. It's shorter than going around. But when we see the map, it's flattened out. So you feel like you're going.
I guess that makes sense, huh?
It's a two-dimensional map as opposed to being in a three-dimensional sphere.
Yeah, that's mind-blowing.
It is. The first time I found out about that, I was blown away too.
Because I would think like say that's the Atlantic Ocean, this blue on the ball.
Yeah.
Like maybe you might like round it a little, but you're telling me you go like
no, well, not that extreme.
Okay.
But you go more north than you would think you would. So my guess is, Pete, that if you were flying over Greenland, seeing, 30,000 feet above Greenland, seeing the Northern Lights, it's not like you're flying from New York to the, North Pole. I mean, you're flying from probably New York to somewhere in Europe, but you pass over Greenland.
Interesting.
Pete says, unfortunately, I never went under the ice and it was only 3 years submerged. Yeah. Excuse me, Pete. I was turning you into an urban legend with the number of years you were underwater. I remember you talking about that, Pete. You never went under the ice, and that was something you wanted to do.
Is that like a big deal? Probably.
Yeah. Well, also, it's a big deal if you're on the Navy when you cross the equator. And that's been a big deal going back hundreds of years for sailors. It's like a ritual. It's like a rite of passage. You kind of get hazed when you go over the equator.
Interesting.
But he's telling me he's been all over, in the submarine, like in the Indian Ocean, the South China Sea, the Pacific, in the Mediterranean. He's been everywhere. Pete says, yeah, right from Berlin to San Francisco. So Berlin to San Francisco, you fly over Greenland. Yeah.
I didn't even think.
Yeah, so you got to look at a map.
I almost think you would go the other way.
No, that's longer to go over the Pacific. But yeah, look at a map and then look at a globe, and it's a change of perspective. Yeah, it's something. So, all right, so all good.
Been going for a while.
We have.
2 hours.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. We have dinner plans. We have family coming in from out of town. What's that? I am a golden shellback. I cross the equator and the international date line at the same time, submerged.
What's the international date line?
You know about that? That's like in the middle of the Pacific. So, like on New Year's Day always happens like in Australia first, because if you cross the Pacific across the international date line over there, it's tomorrow. It jumps a day.
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
Okay, it's in between Hawaii and Asia.
Time.
Yeah, so I guess where the two of them intersect. But Pete, if you're on the live stream, describe for Trevor what the ritual was when you crossed the equator, because I mean you'll see this on old movies when sailors, especially historical films, where they're crossing the Pacific and they go over the equator. Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean,
guess that makes sense.
It's like a ritual. It's a serious thing.
Submarines just
submarines have their own culture.
Yeah,
for sure.
Out of this world. It's a reason why don't they get paid almost the best in the military for a reason?
I don't know.
No, nuclear submarines.
Well, yeah, we got to know your shit to run a nuclear sub, and I think Pete was one of those guys. Pete, here it is. I can't do that on air too much for mixed company. So it's hardcore. I think what that ritual is, right?
Yeah, I get that.
So it's something. Okay, so let's wrap this one up. Trevor, man, I love having you on a guest on the podcast.
We can do it again.
We can do it again. So we only have 2 weeks left.
I don't live too far away.
Yeah, or the next time we can, connect online. But right on. Okay, friends, this is episode number 233 of the John Riley Project. Special thanks to my guest, my son, Trevor Riley. And wish you best in Oklahoma. All right. We'll see you later, friends.